नमस्कार।
नमस्कार दादा।
कैसे हैं आप लोग?
एम दादा, मैं भी ठीक हूँ। हाँ, एम दादा, एम दादा म्यूट है।
सॉरी सर, आप लोगों का आशीर्वाद है सर।
अरे नहीं बादशाह दादा, मेरे लिए तो आप बड़े हैं।
नहीं, बिल्कुल
आशीर्वाद
सर।
आपका है।
अरे नहीं, ऐसा बात नहीं, सबका आशीर्वाद जरूरी है।
और दादा कैसा रहा आपका ट्रिप?
एकदम बढ़िया रहा सर, बहुत अच्छा रहा, काम बढ़िया हो गया मेरा।
दैट्स गुड।
क्या हुआ? क्या था आर्गुमेंट? था क्या था?
नहीं सर, वो रेट पिटिशन का था, मतलब मेंटेनेबिलिटी पे, तो एडमिट हो गया।
अच्छा।
तो रांची में एक सुविधा है सर, वहाँ डेट मिल जाता है, मतलब फिक्स डेट रहता है, तो एक दिन में काम हो जाता है। लेकिन ये कलकत्ते में बड़ा दिक्कत है, वो लिस्ट में रन करता है, डेली बैठे रहिए। तो गर्मी काफ़ी है यहाँ से, 42 डिग्री वाली टेम्परेचर है, हालत खराब हो रही है सर।
तो आज का टॉपिक बहुत बड़ा वास्ट है,
लेकिन बहुत बढ़िया है सर, बहुत बढ़िया टॉपिक।
पाकिस्तान का इंडिपेंडेंस के बाद में क्या दुर्दशा हुई है वो सब इसमें हम डिस्कस करते हैं। उसके बाद पहली बार जनरल इलेक्शन कब हुए वो डिस्कस करेंगे,
जी सर।
और उसके बाद में फिर जो ईस्ट पाकिस्तान में जेनोसाइड हुआ है उसके बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे। देखते हैं कितना कवर कर पाते हैं।
नहीं तो पार्ट 2 रखेंगे सर, नहीं तो पार्ट 2 रखेंगे सर, पार्ट 2 रखेंगे। नहीं तो सर यदि आज हो जाता है ठीक है, नहीं तो पार्ट 2 रखा जाएगा।
हाँ, बाद में रखेंगे, उसको देखेंगे क्या
जी
होता है।
सर, जी सर, जी सर, जी सर।
तो शुरू करते हैं।
ठीक है दादा।
तो जैसा कि आप सबको याद है कि हमारे मुस्लिम लीग की जिद की वजह से और गांधी और नेहरू की गलती की वजह से हमारा देश जो है वो 1947 में डिवाइड हो गया। और डिवाइड भी कुछ इस तरीके से हुआ कि जब 1947 में अंग्रेज यहाँ से छोड़ के गए तो उन लोगों ने हैदराबाद को अलग से इंडिपेंडेंस दे दिया था और पाकिस्तान को बना दिया था। उसमें ईस्ट पाकिस्तान और वेस्ट पाकिस्तान था। तो वेस्ट पाकिस्तान में सिंध को इंक्लूड किया था उन लोगों ने, और पंजाब को इंक्लूड किया था, और नॉर्थ वेस्ट जो फ्रंटियर प्रोविंस था जहाँ पर खान अब्दुल गफ्फार खान फ्रंटियर गांधी के नाम से जाने जाते थे, वो इलाका हुआ करता था। जम्मू कश्मीर के कुछ हिस्से को इन लोगों ने तो 47 में ऐसे ही कब्जा कर लिया था। बाद में लोगों ने क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ड्यू टू आर्म दिस थिंग एंड दैट थिंग, बलूचिस्तान को भी मिला लिया था। तो उधर वो बन गया और इधर की तरफ को ईस्ट पाकिस्तान बन गया था। अब समस्या ये थी कि ईस्ट पाकिस्तान की पॉपुलेशन ज्यादा थी, तो ये लोग बेसिकली जब चलाना शुरू किए अपने राजपाट को, तो इन लोगों ने, इनको डर था कि कहीं ऐसा अगर इलेक्शन करवाएंगे तो बंगाली लोग जो है वो जीत जाएंगे और गड़बड़ हो जाएगा। तो इन लोगों ने कभी इलेक्शन करवाए नहीं ठीक से, और वैसे ही एंट्रीम गवर्नमेंट टाइप चलती रही। जिन्ना साहब गवर्नर जनरल बन गए और लियाकत अली खान को प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना दिया। बाद में फिर 1951 के आसपास में लियाकत अली खान के असैसिनेशन हो गया। वो उस समय वहाँ का जो कंपनी गार्डन हुआ करता था ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी का, वहाँ पर कोई भाषण दे रहे थे, वहीं पर एक बंदे ने उनको मार दिया। तो जैसे हमारे यहाँ पर नॉर्मली होता है कि इन जो असैसिनेशन होते हैं उसका कोई अच्छी तरीके से इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होता है, सेम थिंग वाज विद लियाकत अली खान असैसिनेशन। उनका जो वो जो था असैसिन था वो सरेंडर कर दिया था वहीं पर, बट इमीडिएटली उसको एक पुलिस वाले ने आके मार दिया और वहीं पर सारे का सारा एविडेंसेस खत्म कर दिए। बाद में जो उनकी असैसिनेशन की फाइल थी उसको इन लोगों ने कहीं पर जाकर के जला दिया था। और जब 56-57 के आसपास में एक गवर्नमेंट बनी, जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बन गया था, फिर जब गवर्नमेंट बनी तो जो आदमी जो बची कुची फाइलें थी उनको लेके आने आ रहा था, उसका हवाई जहाज का दुर्घटना हो गई और उसमें सारे के सारे फाइलें जल गई, समथिंग लाइक दैट। ये स्टोरी है पाकिस्तान की। उसके बाद में फिर कोई प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना, फिर तीसरा प्राइम मिनिस्टर बना, फिर उसमें सोहरावर्दी भी शायद 4th या 5th प्राइम मिनिस्टर था, वो भी बना। और अल्टीमेटली 58 में वहां पर मिलिट्री आ गई और खान ने उसके प्राइम मिनिस्टर से पूरी पूरी पावर ले ली और वो बच गया। तो ये सारी कहानी है, इसको हम लोग थोड़ा सा डिस्कस करेंगे, आशा है पब्लिक को अच्छा लगेगा। तो मैं एक आपको आज की डेट में तो विकिपीडिया से एक अच्छा कोई सोर्स नहीं है जहाँ पर सबकी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है बंडल्ड होती है। अब वो इंफॉर्मेशन कितनी रिलायबल है कितना नहीं, मैं व्यूअर्स के ऊपर छोड़ देता हूँ, बट अपने को शॉर्ट में वहीं से अच्छी खासी इंफॉर्मेशन मिल सकती है, तो मैं उसको बता देता हूँ। वो ये है, ये हिस्ट्री ऑफ पाकिस्तान है 47 से प्रेजेंट की। इसके बारे में मैं ज्यादा ऊपर जाऊंगा नहीं, ये पाकिस्तान मूवमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान कैसे बना, क्रिएशन ऑफ पाकिस्तान हो गया। हम यहाँ जाते हैं 1947 से 58 के बाद में। यहाँ पर ये बोल रहे हैं कि in 1947 the founding father of Pakistan agreed to appoint Liaquat Ali Khan as the country's first prime minister, with Muhammad Ali Jinnah as both first governor general and speaker of the state parliament. Mountbatten had offered to serve as governor general of both India and Pakistan, but Jinnah refused this offer. When Jinnah died of tuberculosis in 1948, Islamic scholar Maulana Sabir Ahmad Usmani described Jinnah as the greatest Muslim after the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb. यहाँ पे व्यूवर्स को ये बता देता हूँ कि पाकिस्तान की हिस्ट्री में पाकिस्तान का क्रिएशन 712 AD बताया जाता है, जब मोहम्मद बिन कासिम हमारे यहाँ पर आकर के अटैक किया था सिंध में। तो वहां से ये बोलते हैं हमारा पाकिस्तान तभी बन गया था। जिन्ना साहब भी यही अपना हमेशा बोलते रहे। एनीवे, Usmani asked Pakistan to remember Jinnah's message of unity, faith and discipline, and were to fulfill his dream to create a solid block of Muslim states from Karachi to Ankara. तो टर्की तक इनका सपना था। From Pakistan to Morocco, he wanted to see the Muslims of the world united under the banner of Islam as an effective check against the aggressive design of their enemies. The first formal step to transform Pakistan into an ideological Islamic state was taken in March 1949 when Liaquat Ali Khan introduced the objective resolution in the Constituent Assembly. The objective resolution declared that sovereignty over the entire universe belonged to Allah Almighty. Support of the objective resolution and the transformation of Pakistan into an Islamic state was led by Maulana Sabir Ahmad Usmani, a respected Deobandi alim, who occupied the position of Sheikh al-Islam in Pakistan in 1949 and Maulana Maududi of Jamaat-e Islami. Indian Muslims from the United Province, Bombay Province, Central Province and other areas in India continued to migrate Pakistan throughout 1950 and 60s and settled mainly in urban Sindh, particularly in new country first capital Karachi. Karachi was the first capital of Pakistan. Prime Minister Ali Khan established a strong government and had to face challenges soon after gaining the office. His finance secretary, Victor Turner, announced the country's first monetary policy by establishing the State Bank, the Federal Bureau of Statistics, and Federal Bureau of Revenue to improve knowledge and taxation in the country. In its side of Punjab on 1st April 1948 and also withheld delivering Pakistan its share, the asset and funds of United India, which the Indian government released after Gandhi pressurization. जयभारती साहब
जी दादा,
अगर ये बुढ़ा जनवरी में नहीं मरा होता तो शायद पाकिस्तान को पानी देना चालू रखते थे लोग, तभी भी ये अनशन कर जाता था। बट
अभी तो दादा कोई कह रहा था कॉरिडोर भी देने के चक्कर में था ये तो। अब कितना सच है, सुनी सुनाई बातें हैं।
Territorial problem arose with neighboring Afghanistan over Pakistan-Afghanistan border in 1949 and with India over the line of control in Kashmir. Diplomatic recognition became a problem when the Soviet Union led by Joseph Stalin did not welcome the partition which established Pakistan and India. Imperial state of Iran was the first country to recognize Pakistan in 1947. अब ये आगे वाला बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। In 1948, Ben Gurion of Israel sent a secret courier to Jinnah to establish the diplomatic relations, but Jinnah did not give any spoil to Ben Gurion. Israel was also eager to recognize, but Jinnah ने उसको भाव नहीं दिया. After gaining independence, Pakistan vigorously pursued bilateral relations with other Muslim countries and made a wholehearted bid for leadership of the Muslim world, or at least for leadership in achieving unity. The Ali brother had sought to project Pakistan as the natural leader of the Islamic world, in large part due to the large population and military strength. A top-ranking Muslim League leader, Khalid Zaman, declared that Pakistan would bring together all Muslim countries into Islamization, a pan-Islamic unity. The USA, which did not approve of Pakistan's creation, was very important, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which did not approve, was against the idea, and British Prime Minister Clement Attlee voiced international opinion at the time by stating that he wished that India and Pakistan would reunite, feared to unity of Muslim world, since most of the Arab world was undergoing a nationalist awakening at that time. There were little attraction in Pakistan pan-Islamic aspirations. Some of the Arab countries saw the Islamic project as a Pakistan attempt to dominate other Muslim states. Pakistan vigorously championed the right of self-determination of Muslims around the world. Pakistan's effort for the independence movement of Indonesia, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, and Eritrea were significant and initially led to close ties between those countries and Pakistan. In 1948 speech, Jinnah declared that Urdu alone would be the state language and lingua franca of the Pakistan state, although at the same time he called the Bengali language to be official language of Bengal province. Nonetheless, tension began to grow in East Bengal. Jinnah's health further deteriorated and he died in 1948. Bengali leader Sir Khwaja Najimuddin succeeded as the Governor General of Pakistan. During a massive political rally in 1951, Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan was assassinated and Najimuddin became the second Prime Minister. Tension in East Pakistan reached a climax in 1952 when the East Pakistani police opened fire on students protesting for the Bengali language to receive equal status with Urdu. The situation was controlled by Najimuddin, who issued a waiver granting the Bengali language equal status, a right codified in the 1956 Constitution. तो फर्स्ट टाइम का Constitution 1956 में बना। दादा आगे पढ़ो। In 1953 दिख रहा है?
हाँ दिख रहा सर। In 1953, at the instigation of
मैं आपसे पढ़ने के लिए इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं फिर वो साइड को देख नहीं पाता, मैं पेज पढ़ता रहता हूँ तो उधर फिर ध्यान नहीं जाता कि वहाँ पे क्या।
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है सर, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। In 1953, at the instigation of religious parties, anti-Ahmadiyya riots erupted, which led to many Ahmadiyya deaths. The riots were investigated by a two-member court of inquiry in 1954, which was criticized by the Jamaat-e-Islami, one of the parties accused of inciting the riots. This event led to the instance of martial law in the country and began the history of military intervention into the politics and civilian affairs of the country. In 1954, the controversial one-unit program was imposed by the last Pakistani Muslim League Prime Minister Ali Bogra, dividing Pakistan on the German geopolitical model. The same year, the first legislative elections were held in Pakistan, which saw the communists gaining control of East Pakistan. This is important, sir. The 1954 elections, इसीलिए तो दोनों तरफ से बनता है ना। Talukat. The 1954 election results clarified the differences in ideology between West and East Pakistan, with East Pakistan under the influence of the Communist Party allying with allying with the Shramik Krishak Samajwadi Dal, Workers' Party, and the Awami League. The pro-American Republican Party gained a majority in West Pakistan, ousting the PML government. After a vote of confidence in Parliament and the promulgation of the 1956 Constitution, which confirmed Pakistan as an Islamic republic, two notable figures became Prime Minister and President as the first Bengali leaders of the country. Hussain Sohrawardy became the Prime Minister, leading a communist-socialist alliance, and Iskandar Mirza became the first President of Pakistan. Sohrawardy's foreign policy was directed towards improving the fractured relations with the Soviet Union and strengthening relations with the United States and China after paying a state visit to each country. Announcing a new self-reliance program, Sohrawardy began building a massive military and launched a nuclear power program in the West in an attempt to legitimize his mandate in West Pakistan. Sohrawardy's efforts led to an American training program for the country's armed forces, which met with great opposition in East Pakistan. His party in the East Pakistan parliament threatened to leave the state of Pakistan. Sohrawardy also verbally authorized the leasing of the Inter-Services Intelligence's secret installation at Peshawar Air Station to the CIA to conduct operations in the Soviet Union. ये कल सर जो वीडियो दिखा रहे थे
भारती
उसमें
साहब, कितना भयंकर कम्युनिस्ट था ये आदमी।
differences in East Pakistan further encouraged Baloch separatism, and in an attempt to intimidate the communists in East Pakistan, President Mirza initiated massive arrests of communists and party workers of the Awami League, which damaged the image of West Pakistan in the East. The Western contingent's lawmakers determinedly followed the idea of a westernized parliamentary form of democracy, while East Pakistan opted for becoming a socialist state. The One Unit program and the centralization of the national economy of the Soviet model was met with great hostility and resistance in West Pakistan. The Eastern contingent's economy was rapidly centralized by Sohrawardy's government. Personal problems grew between the two Bengali leaders, further damaging the unity of the country and causing Sohrawardy to lose his authority in his own party to the growing influence of cleric Maulana Bhashani. Resigning under a threat of dismissal by Mirza, Sohrawardy was succeeded by I. Chandrigarh in 1957. Within 2 hours, Chandrigarh was dismissed. He was followed by Sarfiroz Noon, who proved to be an incapable prime minister. Public support for the Muslim League, led by Nurul Amin, began to threaten President Mirza, who was becoming unpopular, especially in West Pakistan. In less than 2 years, Mirza dismissed 4 elected prime ministers and was increasingly under pressure to call for new elections in 1958. From 1958 to 1971 is the first military era. In October 1958, President Iskandar Mirza issued orders for a massive mobilization of the Pakistani armed forces and appointed Chief of Army Staff General Ayub Khan as Commander-in-Chief. President Mirza declared a state of emergency, imposed martial law, suspended the constitution, and dissolved both the socialist government in East Pakistan and the parliamentary government in West Pakistan. General Ayub Khan was chief martial law administrator with authority throughout the country. Within 2 weeks, President Mirza attempted to dismiss Khan, but the move backfired, and President Mirza was relieved of the presidency and exiled to London. General Khan promoted himself to the rank of a five-star field marshal and assumed the presidency. He was succeeded as Chief of Army Staff by General Mohammad Musa. Khan named a new civil military government under him.
Wait. Now,
Ji, sir.
I think we have reached up to Ayub Khan.
जी सर.
अब आगे एक दूसरा है, मैं उसको शेयर करता हूं. ये है पॉलिटिक्स इन पाकिस्तान. एक मिनट.
जी सर.
Political history of Pakistan.
जी सर. The political history of Pakistan is the narrative and analysis of political events, ideas, movements, and leaders of Pakistan. Pakistan gained independence from the United Kingdom. Pakistan gained independence from the United Kingdom on 14th of August 1947, when the presidencies and provinces of British India were divided by the United Kingdom in a region which is commonly referred to as the Indian subcontinent. Since its independence, Pakistan has had a colorful yet turbulent political history at times, often characterized by martial law and inefficient leadership. Pre-independence era, the Pakistan movement, as it came to be known, was based on the principle of two-nation theory and aimed to establish a separate homeland for Muslims in South Asia. This was a movement against the oppression that Muslims felt in the face of an increasingly politicized Hindu majority. The Pakistan movement was spearheaded by Muhammad Ali Jinnah and staunchly opposed by some of the Muslim religious scholars. Parliamentary democracy. After the independence, Liaquat Ali Khan became the first Prime Minister and Jinnah became the first Governor General. Pakistan consisted of two wings, West Pakistan and East Pakistan. The Liaquat government, along with all subsequent governments during that first decade after independence, faced serious difficulties in effectively governing both East and West Pakistan, eventually leading to the military coup of 1958. The Indo-Pakistani War of 1947 began to take place in the Kashmir region in 1947. Both Liaquat Ali and Jinnah were determined to stop the riots and refugee problems and to set up an effective administrative system for the country. Liaquat Ali Khan did the groundbreaking work for the foreign policy of Pakistan while taking initiatives towards the formulation of the constitution. He presented the Objectives Resolution, a prelude to the future constitutions, in the Legislative Assembly. The House passed it on 12th of March 1949. It has been described as the Magna Carta of Pakistan's constitutional history. Both the United States and the Soviet Union sent an invitation to Liaquat Ali Khan. However, Khan chose to pay a goodwill visit to the United States first. This was perceived as a rebuff to Moscow and has been traced to profound adverse consequences. Khan
Just a
wanted
minute, दादा.
Pakistan. Yes, sir.
ऐसा बोलते हैं कि लियाकत अली खान ने मॉस्को को रिबफ किया था and he refused to go to Moscow. That's why he was assassinated. एक ऐसी theory आ रही थी.
This is an information for you, an important piece of information. Sir. Both United States and the Soviet Union sent an invitation to Liaquat Ali Khan. However, Khan chose to pay a goodwill visit to the United States first. This was perceived as a rebuff to Moscow and has been traced to profound adverse consequences. Khan had wanted Pakistan to remain neutral in the Cold War, as declared 3 days after Pakistan's independence, when he declared that Pakistan would take no sides in the conflict of ideologies between the nations. Khan later tried to visit the Soviet Union. Dates for goodwill visit were, were not materialized by the Soviet Union. The same year, Jinnah declared Urdu as the official language of Pakistan. It marked protests in East Pakistan, formerly East Bengal, where Bengali was spoken by most of the population. Jinnah also faced problems with the Pakistan Army's Commander-in-Chief, General Sir Douglas Gracie, who refused to obey the orders of Jinnah. General Gracie argued that Jinnah as Governor-General represented the British Crown, of which he himself was an appointee. Therefore, he did not send troops to the Kashmir region. Jinnah also faced problems with Commander-in-Chief of the Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Richard Attlee, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Navy, Rear Admiral James Wilfred Jefford, who also refused to obey standing orders given by Jinnah. During Khan's tenure, India and Pakistan agreed to resolve the dispute of Kashmir in a peaceful manner through the efforts of the United Nations. This agreement was termed as Karachi Agreement, and a ceasefire was effected in Kashmir on January 1, 1949. It was decided that a free and impartial plebiscite would be held under the supervision of the United Nations. In 1948, Jinnah died, and a major problem of religious minorities flared during the late 1949 and early 1950s. Militants from Jamaat-Ulema-e-Pakistan began to attack the minorities in West Pakistan, which later slipped to India. Sensing another war with India, Khan met Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru to sign the Liaquat-Nehru Pact in 1950. The pact was an effort to improve relations and reduce tensions between India and Pakistan, and to protect the religious minorities on both sides of the borders. In East
यहाँ पे ये
Pakistan,
बता देते हैं 1950 का जो ये लियाकत नेहरू का पैक्ट है ना, इसमें नेहरू साहब ने वो जो अपना रिवर का जो ट्रीटी है ना, उसको फिर से साइन कर दिया था कि वी विल सप्लाई द वाटर.
This is also important. In East Pakistan, the Bengali language movement reached its peak on 21st of February 1952, when the police and soldiers opened fire on students near the Dhaka Medical College protesting for Bengali to receive equal status with Urdu. Several protesters were killed, and the movement gained further support throughout East Pakistan. Later, the government agreed to provide equal status to Bengali as a state language of Pakistan, a right later codified in the 1956 Constitution. The 1951 attempted coup. In 1951, the Military Intelligence Director General, Major General Syed Shahid Hamid, foiled an attempted coup d'etat planned by Major General Akbar Khan, then Chief of General Staff of the General Headquarters (GHQ). He was arrested along with a number of officers from the Pakistani Army. It was the first conspiracy against the elected government. 11 military army officers and 4 civilians were involved in the conspiracy. The conspirator included Faiz Ahmad Faiz, a notable poet and intellectual, and also connected with the Communist Party of Pakistan. In the meantime, Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan.
एक मिनट भारती साहब, इसका नाम सुना है क्या?
ये उर्दू के शायर हैं.
फैज अहमद फैज.
हाँ, ये उर्दू
ये
के बड़े शायर है.
और ये क्या लिख रहा है? कम्युनिस्ट था, नंबर 1 कम्युनिस्ट था वो.
हाँ, वो ये ना जिसने लिखा था वो बोत उठवाए जाएंगे, जो आजकल जेएनयू में भी पीछे गया था लोगों ने.
हाँ,
वही है. हाँ.
In the meantime, Commander-in-Chief of Pakistan Army Ayub Khan. अच्छा, हाँ, पढ़ो.
In the meantime, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistan Army, General Ayub Khan, and Defense Minister Iskandar Mirza remained loyal to Liaquat Ali Khan. After an 18-month trial conducted in secrecy, Major General Khan and Faiz Ahmad Faiz were both convicted and sentenced to long terms of imprisonment. Their defense lawyer was the notable Bengali Muslim political leader Hussain Shahid Surawardi. When Surawardi became the Prime Minister of Pakistan in 1957, he obtained a reprieve for most of the conspirators.
तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि ये जो कब्जे अटैक हुआ था, it was engineered by Surawardi only.
Exactly, sir. Exactly, and he was a communist also, a communist sympathizer also. See, basically he was nothing. He had a Sufi background. He was an Islamist and at the same time a communist also, because both the ideologies are almost both sides of one coin.
Hmm, 1958 के आगे नहीं जा रहा हूँ मैं. अभी अयूब खान का चक्कर है, उसके बाद में देखूंगा. पहले थोड़ा सा और देखते हैं.
सर, ये तो आप मानते हैं कि इस्लामिस्ट और कम्युनिस्ट व्हाई दे एक्ट हैंड इन ग्लव विद ईच अदर. उनका तो मतलब एजेंडा करीब एक ही तरह का है ना, कि पूरा कम्युनिज्म को फैलाना है पूरा वर्ल्ड में, और साथ में जो है इस्लामिस्ट को भी लेना है। जी सर। Partition and Independence. Section 1 of the Indian Independence Act 1947 provided that from the 15th day of August 1947, two independent dominions shall be set up in India to be known respectively as India and Pakistan. The British monarch became the head of state of both the new dominions, with Pakistan sharing a king with the United Kingdom and the other dominions of the British Commonwealth, and the monarch's constitutional roles in Pakistan were delegated to the Governor-General of Pakistan. Before August 1947, about half of the area of present-day Pakistan was part of British India, which was directly governed by the British in the name of the British Crown, while the remainder were princely states in subsidiary alliances with the British, enjoying semi-autonomous self-government. The British abandoned these alliances in August 1947, leaving the states entirely independent, and between 1947 and 1948, the states all acceded to Pakistan while retaining internal self-government for several years. सर एक सेकंड सर, थोड़ा सा चार्ज कर देता हूँ।
More than 10 million people migrated across the new borders, and between 2
जी सर,
lakh to 20 lakhs
हाँ पढ़ता हूँ सर।
people
More than
died in
10 हाँ सर पढ़ता हूँ सर मैं। More than 10 million people migrated across the new borders, and between 2 lakhs to 20 lakhs people died in the spate of communal violence in the Punjab, and what some scholars have described as a retributive genocide between the religions. The Pakistani government claimed that 50,000 Muslim women were abducted and raped by Hindu and Sikh men, and similarly, the Indian government claimed that the Muslims abducted and raped 33,000 Hindu and Sikh women. The two governments agreed to repatriate the abducted women, and thousands of Hindu and Sikhs and Muslim women were repatriated to their families in the 1950s. The dispute over Kashmir escalated into the first war between India and Pakistan. With the assistance of the United Nations, the war was ended, but it became the Kashmir dispute unresolved as of 2022. In 1947, the founding fathers of Pakistan agreed to appoint Liaquat Ali Khan as the country's first Prime Minister, with Muhammad Ali Jinnah as
ये
the.
पढ़ लिया हम लोगों ने।
जी सर।
यहाँ political unrest.
Political unrest. In a 1948 speech, Jinnah declared that Urdu alone would be the state language and the lingua franca of the Pakistani state, although at the same time he called for the Bengali language to be the official language
पढ़
of the
लिया
Bengal
लगता है, ये भी
province.
पढ़ लिया ना? हाँ पढ़ लिया, ये भी पढ़ लिया। Yes, ये Hussain Sarawardi became the prime minister leading to a communist socialist alliance, and Iskandar Mirza became the first president. ये पढ़ लिया हम लोगों ने।
जी सर, ये पढ़ना
ये
है
पढ़ो,
सर।
ये पढ़ो तो।
Ratcliffe Line, अच्छा, monarchy and अच्छा, Ratcliffe Line and territory. The dominion began as a federation of 5 provinces, East Bengal later to become Bangladesh, West Punjab, Balochistan, Sindh, and the northwestern frontier province. Each province had its own governor, who was appointed by the Governor-General of Pakistan. In addition to the following year, the princely states of Pakistan, which covered a significant area of West Pakistan, acceded to Pakistan. They included Bawalpur, Khairpur, Swat, Bir, Chitral, and the Khanate of Talat. The controversial Radcliffe Award, not published until 17th of August 1947, specified the Radcliffe Line, which demarcated the border between the parts of British India allocated to the new independent dominions of India and Pakistan. The Radcliffe Boundary Commission sought to separate the Muslim majority regions in the east and northwest from the areas with a Hindu majority. This entailed the partition of two British provinces which did not have a uniform majority, Bengal and Punjab. The western part of Punjab became the Pakistani province of Punjab, and the eastern part became the Indian state of Punjab. Bengal was similarly divided into East Bengal in Pakistan and West Bengal in India. Monarchy and Commonwealth.
ये बहुत जरूरी है, इसे पब्लिक को मालूम पड़ना चाहिए क्या हुआ था। देखो हमारे यहाँ पे तो फिर भी कुछ हुआ था, सिविलियन गवर्नमेंट आ गई थी, बट यहाँ पे मोनार्की थी।
जी जी जी। Under the Indian Independence Act 1947, British India was to be divided into the independent sovereign states of India and Pakistan. From 1947 to 1952, George V was the sovereign of Pakistan, which shared the same person as its sovereign with the United Kingdom and the other dominions of the British Commonwealth of Nations. Following George VI's death on 6th of February 1952, his elder daughter, Princess Elizabeth, who was in Kenya, at that time, became the new monarch of Pakistan. During the Queen's coronation in 1953, Elizabeth II was crowned as Queen of 7 independent Commonwealth countries, including Pakistan. In a coronation oath, the new Queen promised to govern the people of Pakistan, including their respective laws and customs. The standard of Pakistan at the coronation was borne by Mirza Abul Hasan Ispahani. Pakistan abolished the monarchy on the adoption of a republican constitution on 23rd of March 1956. However, Pakistan became a republic with the Commonwealth of Nations. The Queen sent a message to President Mirza which said, "I have followed with close interest the progress of your country since its establishment. It is a source of great satisfaction to me to know that your country intends to remain within the Commonwealth. I am confident that Pakistan and other countries of the Commonwealth will continue to thrive and to benefit from their mutual association." Foreign relations,
पढ़
territorial
लिया, पढ़ी, छोड़ दो उसको, छोड़ दो।
जी,
तो 1956 में पहला कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आया था इनका।
जी सर, जी सर।
ये क्या है, एक मिनट इसको देखता हूँ, काफी पेज खोल रखे हैं ना। What is this? ये गिनना बताया, इसके बारे में कौन पढ़ेगा। So that brings us to 58.
Yes sir.
अब हम 58 में जाते हैं। 58 के बाद में क्या हो रहा था इनका। तो ये कौन है भाई साहब, ये सिकंदर मिर्जा है, इसको छोड़ देता हूँ। 1958 कॉप द एटॉट, ये इसको पढ़ते हैं इसको।
Hmm. 1958 Pakistani coup year sir. The 1958 Pakistani coup began on October 7th when the first president of Pakistan, Iskandar Mirza, abrogated the constitution of Pakistan and declared martial law, which lasted until October 27th when Mirza himself was deposed by General Ayub Khan, the commander-in-chief of the Pakistani army. There were a number of prime ministers between 1956 and 1958, and it reached a stage when General Ayub Khan left the army. Beg your pardon. There were a number of prime ministers between 1958 and 56 and 1958, and it reached a stage when General Ayub Khan felt the army should take control to restore stability. East Pakistan's politicians wanted more say in the running of the central government, which increased tension. Iskandar Mirza had lost the support of many of the leading politicians and was alarmed at a plan by Surawardi to unite the political leadership of Bengal and Punjab against him. Therefore, he turned to Ayub Khan and the military for help. ये important है सर.
कुछ लोग इतने कमीने होते हैं, जब ये हिंदुस्तान के साथ में था तो हिंदुस्तान को शांति से रहने नहीं दिया, और जब पाकिस्तान बन गया तो उधर भी गड़बड़ कर रहा था.
हाँ, उधर भी गड़बड़ थे. History. The prelude to Ayub Khan's declaring martial law in Pakistan was fraught with political tension and sectarian politics, in which the political establishment of the new country alienated its citizens through controversial governance and perceived political failings. Among the most controversial failings of the government were the continued uncertainty around canal water disputes, causing a rift between the largely still agriculturally dependent economy of Pakistan's government and citizen farmers, as well as the general geopolitical failure to adequately deal with the Indian threat to Pakistani sovereignty in the disputed region of Jammu and Kashmir. In 1956, the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan approved the constitution that ended Pakistan's status as an independent dominion of the British Empire to create an Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Major General Iskandar Mirza, as the last Governor General of Pakistan, automatically became the state's first president. The new constitution was, however, followed by a period of political turmoil in Pakistan, which further agitated the populace and factions within the military. In the 2-year period between 1956 and 1958, this turmoil saw four prime ministers: Chaudhry Muhammad Ali, Hussain Shahid Surawardi, Ibrahim Ismail Chandigarh, and Sir Firoz Khan Noon in rapid succession. A precedent existed in Pakistan whereby a Governor General in 1956, that office belonged to Malik Ghulam Muhammad before its powers were assumed by the President, could dismiss a Prime Minister and rule by decree until a new government could be formed. Many viewed Mirza's use of this power as a deliberate manipulation of the constitution for his own ends. In particular, Mirza's one-unit scheme, amalgamating the provinces of Pakistan into two wings, West and East Pakistan, was politically controversial and proved difficult and costly to enforce. A quick succession of prime ministers as a result of Iskandar Mirza's controversial actions fostered the new view within the military that the public would support a coup against Pakistan's civil government and allow Ayub Khan to seize control of the country. Martial law. On October 7th, President Iskandar
एक मिनट दादा,
जी सर.
that means actually Pakistan has got independence on 14th August, जो बोल रहे हैं, that is misnomer.
क्योंकि the
They were under the rule of king and queen.
जी जी. अच्छा, even thereafter they were never stable. आपस में देखिए कितना conflict. They were never stable.
उसका दादा एक रीजन है मैं आप दोनों से शेयर करूंगा, फिर आप बताना कि वो ठीक है. आप भी अब कर लीजिए, इसको पढ़ लीजिए बाद में, जो मुझे समझ आता है ये स्टेबल क्यों नहीं होंगे, ना थे ना है ना होंगे.
जी सर, याद रखिएगा सर, फिर बाद में हम बात करेंगे इस विषय पर. Martial law. On October 7th, President Iskandar Mirza declared martial law in Pakistan. He abrogated the Constitution of 1956, describing it as unworkable and full of dangerous compromises. He dismissed the government of Sir Firoz Khan Noon, dissolved the National Assembly of Pakistan and the provincial legislatures. Mirza also proceeded to outlaw all political parties. He appointed General Ayub Khan, the Commander-in-Chief of the Pakistani Army, as the Chief Martial Law Administrator and nominated him to become the new Prime Minister of Pakistan, charged with administering the country. Deposing of Mirza. On October 27th, Iskandar Mirza resigned from the presidency, transferring it to Ayub Khan. Both men saw the other as a rival to their respective positions. Mirza believed His own position had become largely redundant after Ayub Khan assumed most executive powers as the chief martial law administrator and prime minister, and acted to assert himself, while Ayub Khan thought Mirza was conspiring against him. It is said that Ayub was uh, alerted of Mirza's plan to have him arrested on his return from Dhaka. It is widely held that Ayub Khan and generals loyal to him forced Mirza to resign. Mirza was later taken to Quetta, the capital of the province of Balochistan, before being exiled on November 27 to London, England, where he resided until his death in 1969. Consolidation. Ayub Khan combined the offices of President and Prime Minister, becoming both the head of state and government. He created a cabinet of technocrats, diplomats, and military officers. These included Air Marshal Asghar Khan and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, the future Prime Minister. In contrast, with future Pakistani military rulers such as General Ziaul Haq and General Pervez Musharraf, Ayub Khan did not seek to hold the posts of President and Army Chief simultaneously. He appointed General Muhammad Musa as the new Commander-in-Chief. Ayub Khan also obtained judicial validation of his move when the Supreme Court of Pakistan validated and legalized his takeover under the doctrine of necessity. Reactions. The coup was received positively in Pakistan as relief from unstable governments and weak political leadership. There was hope that strong central leadership could stabilize the economy and promote modernization and the restoration of a stable form of democracy. The Ayub Khan regime was also supported by foreign governments such as the United States. But ultimately it didn't work out.
Supported by United States.
States. The democracy didn't work out, dictatorship hasn't worked out, nothing has worked out.
Now we'll come straight to Bengali language movement. Bhasha Andolan.
The Bengali language movement. The Bengali language movement, also known as the Bhasha Andolan, was a political movement in former East Pakistan was a political movement in former East Bengal, renamed East Pakistan in 1952, advocating the recognition of the Bengali language as an official language of the then Dominion of Pakistan to allow its use in government affairs, the continuation of its use as a medium of education, its use in media, currency and stamps, and to maintain its writing in the Bengali script. When the Dominion of Pakistan was formed after the separation of the Indian subcontinent in 1947 when the British left, it was composed of various ethnic and linguistic groups, when the geographically non-contiguous East Bengal province having a mainly Bengali population. In 1948, the government of the Dominion of Pakistan ordained, as part of Islamization and Arabization of East Pakistan or East Bengal, that Urdu will be the sole national language. Alternatively, Bengali writing in Arabic script or Roman script. This is news to me.
क्या लिखा है? एक मिनट ज़्यादा मैं ईमेल पढ़ रहा था. क्या पढ़ा आपने?
सर फिर से पढ़ता हूँ मैं इसको. This is very important. In 1948, the government of the Dominion of Pakistan ordained, as a part of Islamization and Arabization of East Pakistan or East Bengal, that Urdu would be the sole national language. Alternatively, Bengali writing in Arabic script or Roman script or Arabic as the state language of the whole of Pakistan was also proposed.
How is it possible, Dada? Arabic दादा एम दादा अरेबिक में कैसे आएगी ये? आ सकती है क्या?
ये साले मोहम्मद बिन कासिम के बच्चे थे, ये लोगों को यही सवाल तैयार था।
गड़बड़ तो वहीं से शुरू हुआ ना, बिकॉज एवरीबडी थॉट दैट दिस इज एन इम्प्रैक्टिकल आइडिया।
सॉरी सॉरी
हाँ।
सॉरी सॉरी, कहाँ गया?
कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
उर्दू का तो सुना था, लेकिन ये स्क्रिप्ट अरबी में, और हाँ ये जो भी
मुझे भी मालूम नहीं था सर, अभी पढ़
चलो ठीक है।
किधर गया? यही है ना?
हाँ यार, बस
यहाँ पे, हाँ
हाँ
हाँ।
आगे। This sparked
मैं
extensive protests among the Bengali-speaking majority of East Pakistan, facing
दादा,
rising.
इनको पढ़ने के लिए मैंने कितना टाइम लगाया होगा, छांट छांट के पेज
मैंने
करने के लिए।
बहुत हाँ निकाले हैं
ज़्यादा
आप, इतना बढ़िया चीज।
हाँ।
Facing rising sectarian tensions and mass discontent with the new law, the government outlawed public meetings and rallies. The students of the University of Dhaka and other political activists defied the law and organized a protest on 21st of February 1952. The movement reached its climax when police killed student demonstrators on that day. The deaths provoked widespread civil unrest. After years of conflict, the central government relented and granted official status to the Bengali language in 1956. The language movement catalyzed the assertion of Bengali national identity in East Bengal and later East Pakistan, and became a forerunner to the Bengali nationalist movements, including the Six-Point Movement and subsequently the Bangladesh Liberation War and the Bengali Language Implementation Act of 1987. In Bangladesh, 21 20, on 21st of February is observed. In Bangladesh, the 21st of February is observed as Language Movement Day, a national holiday. The Shahid Minar monument was constructed near Dhaka Medical College in memory of the movement and its victims. In 1999, the UNESCO declared 21st of February as International Mother Language Day in tribute to the language movement and the ethno-linguistic rights ethno-linguistic rights of people around the world. Background: the present-day nations of Pakistan and Bangladesh were part of an undivided India during the British colonial rule. From the mid-19th century, the Urdu language
नहीं,
had been promoted.
मैं पूछ रहा हूँ, इसको पढ़ना जरूरी है क्या?
नहीं, जरूरी नहीं है।
यहाँ से पढ़ो ना, वाइल से, यहाँ से पढ़ो।
While the use of Urdu grew common with Muslims in northern India, the Muslims of Bengal, a province of the eastern part of British Indian subcontinent, primarily use the Bengali language. Bengali is an Eastern Indo-Aryan language that arose from the Eastern Middle Indic languages around 1000 CE and developed considerably with a rich literature, history, and cultural identity. Unlike many other Indic languages, Bengali got patronage from the states and empires in the Middle Ages. During the Bengal Renaissance, the modern Bengali literature developed its stronghold. Bengalis, irrespective of religious identity, used the Bengali language. Supporters of Bengali opposed Urdu even before the partition of India, when delegates from Bengal rejected the idea of making Urdu the lingua franca of Muslim India in 1937. In the 1937 Lucknow session of the Muslim League was a British Indian political party. The Muslim League was a British Indian political party that became the driving force behind the creation of Pakistan as a Muslim state separate from British India. Early stages of the movement. After the partition of India in 1947, Bengali-speaking people in East Bengal, the non-contiguous eastern part of the Dominion of Pakistan, made up 44 million of the newly formed Dominion of Pakistan's 69 million people. The Dominion of Pakistan's government, civil services and military, however, were dominated by personnel from the western wing of the Dominion of Pakistan. In November 1947, a key resolution at a national education summit in Karachi advocated Urdu and English as the sole state languages. Opposition and protests arose immediately. students from Dhaka rallied under the leadership of Abdul Qasim, the secretary of Tamadul Majlis, a Bengali Islamic cultural organization. The meeting stipulated Bengali as an official language of the Dominion of Pakistan and as a medium of education in East Bengal. However, the Pakistani Public Commission removed Bengali from the list of approved subjects as well as from currency notes and stamps. The Central Education Minister Fazlur Rahman made extensive preparations to make Urdu the only state language of the Dominion of Pakistan. Public outrage spread, and many Bengali students met on the University of Dhaka campus on 8th of December 1947 to formally demand that Bengali be made an official language. To promote their cause, Bengali students organized processions and rallies in Dhaka. Leading Bengali scholars argued why Urdu should not be the only state language. The writer Abdul Mansur Ahmad said, if Urdu became the state language, the educated society of East Bengal would become illiterate and ineligible for government positions. The first Rashtrabhasha Sangram Parishad National Language Action Committee, an organization in favor of Bengali as a state language, was formed towards the end of December 1947. Professor Nurul Haq Bhuyya of the Tamadun Majlis convened the committee. Later, Parliament member Shamsul Haq convened a new committee to push for Bengali as a state language. Dhirendranath Datta's proposal. Assembly member Dhirendranath Datta proposed legislation in the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan to allow members to speak in Bengali and authorize its use for official purposes. Datta's proposal was supported by legislators Prem Hari Burman, Bhupendra Kumar Datta, Srish Chandra Chattopadhyay of East Bengal, as well as the people of the region. Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan and the Muslim League denounced the proposal as an attempt to divide the Pakistani people. Thus, the legislation was defeated. Fazlur Rahman's proposal. Since the partition of the country in 1947, the Union Minister representing East Pakistan, Fazlur Rahman, campaigned for implementation of Bengali language written in Arabic script, Bengali with the Hurful Quran at the Nikhil Pakistan Teachers Conference held in Karachi on 29th of December 1948. Fazlur Rahman proposed to write Bengali in Arabic script for the sake of Islamization of the language. East Bengal Provincial Education Department Secretary Fazle Ahmad Karim Fazli was one of the main initiators of the effort to introduce the Arabic alphabet in Bengali. Both Karim Fazli and Fazlur Rahman established a society called Hurful Quran Samiti with a Maulana named Zulfikar Ali of Chittagong and tried to form a movement to introduce Arabic letters in Bengali through him. Abdul Hakim, the former director of the East Bengal Education Department, said, some funny legends are heard in Dhaka about a Muslim Wazir Sahib's own knowledge of Urdu. He wanted to fulfill his ardent desire to beautify that in order to be admired by the all-powerful Urdu Mahal of the centre. For this purpose, a sum of rupees 35,000 per annum for publication of books was arranged to hand over the central sanction to the aforesaid Provincial Education Secretary. In response, Mohammad Shahidullah opposed the proposal, fearing further complications, and advocated making Bengali unchanged as a state language of East Bengal and one of the state languages of Pakistan.
देखो इमदादा,
जी सर।
ये लोग 1400 साल पीछे जाना चाहते हैं, वो अरेबिक लैंग्वेज जिसका भारत से कुछ लेना देना नहीं है।
बिल्कुल। अच्छा, उर्दू में बंगाली लिखना पॉसिबल है?
पॉसिबल है।
उर्दू इज फ्लेक्सिबल, स्टिल वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल।
दादा आपकी आवाज बड़ी धीमी आ रही है।
अभी भी धीमी आ रही है सर?
हाँ, धीमी, आपकी आवाज लाउड नहीं है
ठीक है,
वैसे।
अभी लाउड है सर?
हाँ, अब बेटर है।
और बढ़ा दें?
नहीं, आप ठीक है दादा।
वॉल्यूम 100% कर दिया है।
ठीक है।
तब तो शुरू में कोई सुना ही नहीं होगा ठीक से मुझे।
नहीं, आवाज आ रही, फिर आप अगर पीछे हो रहे हैं ना, फिर आवाज वैसी होगी, नीचे वॉल्यूम जैसे नीचे चला गया।
अभी नीचे चला गया?
फिर वही, हाँ वैसे हो गया फिर से।
फिर से वैसे ही हो गया?
हाँ, वैसे ही है दादा। आवाज़ फिर धीमी हो गई आपकी।
पता नहीं क्या प्रॉब्लम है, मैं ये हेडसेट चेंज करता हूँ सर। अब ठीक है सर?
सॉरी, थोड़ा सा मैं कहीं चला गया था, 1 मिनट।
कोई नहीं भी दादा,
ठीक है सर, पहले से बेहतर है।
थोड़ा अभी उतनी लाउड नहीं है एम दादा।
जी सर, नहीं आ रही है।
आ रही है लेकिन आवाज़ थोड़ी सी ना वॉल्यूम जैसे थोड़ा सा लो होता है।
मैं तो 100% कर दिया हूँ।
100% सुनाई तो दे रहा है।
नहीं, साफ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा, मैं समझ रहा हूँ सर, साफ सुनाई नहीं दे रहा। अब ठीक है? नहीं, अभी भी
ठीक है,
ठीक नहीं।
ठीक है। दादा कहाँ तक खत्म किया था?
हम लोग सर वो लास्ट तक वो स्टेट, वन ऑफ द स्टेट लैंग्वेजेस ऑफ पाकिस्तान एडवोकेटेड मेकिंग बंगाली अनचेंज as the state language of
ठीक
East
है।
Bengal during
अब
that time.
ये क्या बोल रहा है, रोमन में लिखो।
हाँ, proposal for Romanization of Bengali. During that time, Romanization of Bengali was also proposed, along with other proposals regarding the determination of the state language of Pakistan. After 1947, many other East Pakistani academics, including Muhammad Qudrati Khuda and Nazirul Islam Muhammad Sufian, supported the idea of writing Bengali in the Roman script. In 1948, Muhammad Firdaus Khan opposed it in his pamphlet, The Language Problem of Today. Abul Fazl Muhammad Akhtar Uddin supported the Roman alphabet in his article entitled Bangla Bornomalar Porivarton, Changes in the Bengali Alphabet, published in the Daily Azad on 18th of April 1949. The Romanization proposals continued on even after 1952. In 1957, the East Pakistan Education Commission recommended the use of the revised Roman script in adult education. Around 1957 to 1958, there was a significant demand for the use of Roman letters again. At that time, Muhammad Abdul Hai and Muhammad Enamul Haq opposed it. Agitations of 1948, students of the University of Dhaka and other colleges of the city organized a general strike on 11th of March 1948 to protest the omission of Bengali language from official use, including coins, stamps, and recruitment tests for the Navy. The movement restated the demand that Bengali be declared an official language of the Dominion of Pakistan. Political leaders such as Shamsul Haq, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Shaukat Ali, M. Sirajul Islam, Qazi Ghulam Mahbub, Oli Ahad, Abdul Wahid, and others were arrested during the rallies. Rally leader Muhammad Toha was hospitalized after attempting to snatch a rifle from a police officer. Student leaders including Abdul Matin and Abdul Matek Ukil took part in the procession. Agreement with Khwaja Nazimuddin. In the afternoon of 11th March, a meeting was held to protest police brutality and arrests. A group of students marching towards the Chief Minister Khwaja Nazimuddin's house was stopped in front of the Dhaka High Court. The rally changed its direction and moved in the direction of the Secretariat building. Police attacked the procession, injuring several students and leaders, including A.K. Fazlul Haq. Continuing strikes were observed the following 4 days. Under such circumstances, the Chief Minister Nazimuddin signed an accord with the student leaders agreeing in some terms and conditions without complying to the demand that Bengal be made a state language. Liaquat Ali Khan's visit to Dhaka. On November 18, 1948, the first Prime Minister of Pakistan, Liaquat Ali Khan, visited East Pakistan. On November 27th, he addressed a student meeting at the playground of Dhaka University. In that meeting, the demand for Bengali language and the certificate issued by the Dhaka University Central Students' Union was again raised, but he refrained from making any comments. In the meeting of the National Language Working Council held under the chairmanship of Ataur Rahman Khan on November 17, Aziz Ahmad, Abdul Qasim, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Kamruddin Ahmad, Abdul Mannan, Tajuddin Ahmad, and others drafted a memorandum and sent it to Prime Minister Liaquat Ali Khan. The Prime Minister did not respond to this either. Jinnah's visit to Dhaka. In the height of the civic unrest, Governor-General of Pakistan Muhammad Ali Jinnah arrived in Dhaka on 19th of March 1948. On 21st of March, at a civic reception at Racecourse Ground, he claimed that the language issue was designed by a fifth column to divide Pakistani Muslims. Jinnah further declared that Urdu and only Urdu embodied the spirit of the Muslim nations and would remain as the state language, labeling those who disagreed with his views as enemies of Pakistan. Jinnah delivered a similar speech in Curzon Hall of the University of Dhaka on 24th of March. At both meetings, Jinnah was interrupted by large segments of the audience. He later called a meeting of a State Language Committee of Action and overruled the contract that was signed by Khwaja Nazimuddin with the student leaders. Before Jinnah left Dhaka on 20th of March, he delivered a speech on radio reasserting his Urdu-only policy. Proposal for Arabic language. Muhammad Shahidullah believed that Bengalis could learn Urdu at the same time as learning English. He also believed that when Arabic becomes the state language of Pakistan, the creation of Pakistan will be justified. Therefore, in December 1949,
एक
he
से एक
assumed
बेवकूफ लोग थे भाई, बाप रे।
सबको अरबी बनना है।
नहीं नहीं, ये मैंने ये जो पेज है ना, ये स्पेशली जय भारती साहब के लिए रखा हुआ था। पढ़ो आगे, मालूम।
Therefore, in December 1949, he assumed the presidency of the East Pakistani Arabic language of the East Pakistani Arabic Language Association approved a draft memorandum to be submitted to the Assembly, where it was requested to the government that Arabic be made the state language of Pakistan and for the provision of Darse-Quran or Quran teaching in various centers and mosques of the city.
एक मिनट, सचवाला साहब का यही चलता था ना, दरसे कुरान?
जी सर।
ठीक, हाँ, दरसे कुरान।
हाँ, on January 18, 1950,
on January 18, on January 18, 1950, some students of Rajshahi College called a meeting to demand that Arabic be made the state language. State Bank Governor Zahid Hussain proposed to make Arabic the state language, and this proposal was then supported by Syed Akhtar Shah, member of the Sindh Legislative Council and Vice Chancellor of Sindh Arabic University. On 1st of February 1951, at the session of the World Muslim Conference in Karachi, the leader of the Ismaili community, Aga Khan, said, "If Arabic is made the state language of Pakistan, common communication will be established between the Muslims of the Arab world, North Africa and Indonesia." On February 10, 1951, the Secretary of Pakistan Buddhist League, Rabindranath Burmi, issued a statement opposing these proposals in favor of Urdu instead of Arabic as state language. These proposals to make Arabic the state language did not gain much support in any part of Pakistan. However, according to Badruddin Umar, as this demand was related to the question of development of Islamic culture, it indirectly supported the demand of the introduction of Arabic script in Bengali language, to some extent in some groups. Proposal by Language Committee. Shortly thereafter, the East Bengal Language Committee, presided by Maulana Akram Khan, was formed by the East Bengal government to prepare a report on the language problem. In 1949, the Language Committee of East Bengal government conducted a survey amongst teachers, intellectuals, high civil servants, members of the Legislative Council, according to which out of 301 respondents, 96 favored the introduction of the Arabic script, 18 of the Roman script, and 187 gave opinion in favor of the retention of the Bengali script. Besides, many people did not give any answer. The committee produced its report by 6th of December 1950, but it was not published before 1958. Here, an effective measure was proposed by the government to solve the language problem, where they recommended writing Bengali through Arabic characters. Events of 1952. The Urdu-Bengali controversy was reignited when Jinnah's successor, Governor-General Khwaja Nazimuddin, staunchly defended the Urdu-only policy in a speech on 27th of January 1952. On 31st of January, the Sarvodolio Kendra Rashtrabhasha Korme Parishad, all-party Central Language Action Committee, was formed in a meeting at the Bar Library Hall of the University of Dhaka, chaired by Maulana Bhashani. The central government proposal of writing the Bengali language in Arabic script by East Pakistan's Educational Secretary, Faizur Rahman, was vehemently opposed at the meeting. The Action Committee called for an all-out protest on 21st of February, including strikes and rallies. In an attempt to prevent the demonstration, the government imposed Section 144 in Dhaka, thereby banning any gathering. According to the earlier decision, students of Dhaka University and other educational institutions gathered at Dhaka University premises on February 4th. The rally protested the proposal to write Bengali in Arabic script and demanded Bengali as a state language. The students took out a huge demonstration after the assembly. On February 11, 1952, a long circular, number 10, titled Rashtrabhasha Andolan, was promoted to the Secretariat of the Bengal Provincial Organizing Committee before the Communist Party of Pakistan. In this circular, the Communist Party's statement, line, and organizational duties regarding the language movement are clearly indicated. In accordance with the principles and lines of the state language movement and laid down in the party circular number 10 of the East Bengal Organizing Committee of the Communist Party of Pakistan dated February 11th. They circulated a cyclostad manifesto on February 20th, which read, "Respond to the call of the All India State Language Working Committee."
इसको
To
आगे करते हैं, वो कॉल कर रहा है, वो तो पूरा ऐसे
हाँ, जो
वर्ड को टकरा
कम्युनिस्टों का जो होता है, हड़ताल करो, कॉल करो,
हाँ,
अनरेस्ट करो, यही सब है।
फिर ये बकवास कर रहे हैं लोग, क्या हो रहा है, अनरेस्ट
हाँ,
हो रहा है।
हाँ, तो जो इनका कम्युनिस्टों का जो काम है ना, देखिए नहीं पढ़ के मैं बता दिया आपको, इनका काम ही वही है ना, वो अपना काम कर रहे थे। रिएक्शन
अरे
इन
ये
वेस्ट
पढ़ लो,
पाकिस्तान,
रिएक्शन पढ़ लो।
हाँ वो वही पढ़ रहा हूँ। रिएक्शन इन वेस्ट पाकिस्तान, although the language movement is considered to have led, सर ये छोड़ दिए सर, मैं पढ़ लूँगा।
ओके,
हाइलाइटिंग, हाँ वो क्या है ना, हाइलाइटिंग में थोड़ा धुंधला हो रहा है इसमें।
ब्लू हो
Although
जाता है। हाँ,
हाँ, although the language movement is considered to have laid the foundation for ethnic nationalism in many of the Bengalis of East Bengal and later East Pakistan, it also heightened the cultural animosity between the authorities of the two wings of Pakistan. In the western wing of the Dominion of Pakistan, this movement was seen as a sectional uprising against Pakistani national interests. The rejection of the Urdu-only policy was seen as a contravention of the Perso-Arabic culture of Muslims and the founding ideology of Pakistan, the two-nation theory. Some of the most powerful politicians from the western wing of Pakistan considered Urdu as a product of Indian Islamic culture, but saw Bengali as part of Hinduized Bengali culture. Most stood by the Urdu-only policy because they believed that only a single language, as that was not indigenous to Pakistan, should serve as the national language. This kind of thinking also provoked considerable opposition in the Western Wing, wherein there existed several linguistic groups. As late as in 1967, military dictator Ayub Khan said, East Bengal is still under considerable Hindu culture and influence. Aftermath. The सर्वदलीय केंद्र क्या लिख रहा है वो इनका वो चला हुआ ना movement. Constitutional status as state language. When the defeat With the defeat of the Muslim League in East Bengal Assembly elections, the central government became flexible in recognizing Bengali as the state language of Pakistan along with Urdu. At least a few thousand people protested in the National Assembly on April 22nd against the decision. On 7th of May 1954, the Constituent Assembly resolved, with the Muslim League support, to grant official status to Bengali. Bengali was adopted as an official language of Pakistan along with Urdu in Article 214, subsection 1, when the first Constitution of Pakistan was it should be Article 214, Sub-Article 1, when the first Constitution of Pakistan was enacted on 29th of February 1956 with Muhammad Ali Bogra, who raised the language-related clauses of the Constitution in Parliament. According to the clauses, Bengali language was given equal recognition as state languages like Urdu. In Parliament and the Legislative Assembly, besides Urdu and English, there was an opportunity to speak in Bengali. The Constitution also provided opportunities for higher education in Bengali. However, the military government formed by Ayub Khan made attempts to re-establish Urdu as the sole national language. On 6th of January 1959, the military regime issued an official statement and reinstated the official stance of supporting the 1956 constitutional policy of two state languages. Standard Bengali movement. The Bengali language movement and the banning of Rabindranath Tagore's works by the central government of Pakistan led to a movement by intellectuals of Dhaka that led to an increase of the use of central standard Bengali in the city in the 1950s and the 1960s.
अभी मैंने इतना टाइम क्यों वेस्ट किया है? बिकॉज दिस वाज द मेन कॉज ऑफ
The creation
बांग्लादेश, बर्थ ऑफ बांग्लादेश.
Correct.
तो लैंग्वेज इशू वाज द मेन प्रॉब्लम. अभी पार्टीशन तो आपने कर दिया, पब्लिक को यहाँ से वहां भगा दिया, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया, लेकिन कौन सी लैंग्वेज रखोगे? जबरदस्ती अगर थोपोगे तो गड़बड़ हो जाएगा ना फिर. किरण में नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
क्या हुआ, लेट हो गए साहब?
सॉरी सर, क्षमा चाहूंगा.
तुम्हारे मतलब का था ये पूरा कितना खत्म हो गया हमारा?
नहीं, अभी बाकी है ना. अब तो 1971 तक जाना है, अभी टाइम है.
चलो अब एटम बम फोड़ते हैं.
क्या बोले?
एटम बम.
एटम बम
फोड़ेंगे.
वो तो 98 हो जाएगा, 98, 99 हो जाएगा.
तो मुझे सुनाई नहीं दे रही है. क्या
देखते हैं.
क्या ये सुना है?
ऑपरेशन सर्च लाइट वो शायद हुआ था 1971 पे, मार्च के महीने में.
Operation Searchlight was the code name for a planned military operation called out by the Pakistani in an effort to curb the Bengali nationalist movement in former East Pakistan in March 1971. Pakistan retrospectively justified the operation on the basis of anti-Bihari violence carried out en masse by the Bengalis earlier that month, ordered by the central government in West Pakistan. The original plans envisioned taking control of all of East Pakistan's major cities on 26th of March and then eliminating all Bengali opposition, whether political or military, within the following month. West Pakistani military leaders had not anticipated prolonged Bengali resistance or later Indian military intervention. The main phase of Operation Searchlight ended with the fall of the last major Bengali-held town in mid-May 1971. The operation also directly precipitated the 1971 Bangladeshi genocide, in which between 3 lakhs and 30 lakhs Bengalis were killed, while around 10 million fled to neighboring India as refugees. However, these death tolls are contested by Christian Gerlach, who suggests a likely death toll of 5 lakhs and less than 1 million after extensive investigation of various partial and independent sources. He also quotes the highly politicized and diverging accounts of events and numbers by the different governments. The 3 million death toll is used by the Bangladeshi government as part of its founding myth, since only a separation would prevent further and full-scale genocide, whereas much lower death tolls in the tens of thousands is used by Pakistani sources to belittle the scale of atrocities. Bengali intelligentsia, academics and Hindus were widely targeted alongside Muslim Bengali nationalists with widespread, indiscriminate extrajudicial killings. The nature of these systematic purges enraged the Bengalis, who declared independence from the Union of Pakistan to establish the new nation of Bangladesh. The widespread violence resulting from Pakistan's Operation Searchlight ultimately led to the Bangladesh Liberation War, in which Indian-backed Mukti Bahini guerrillas fought to remove Pakistani forces from Bangladesh. The civil war escalated in the following months as East Pakistani loyalists, mostly from the persecuted Bihari minority, formed militias to support West Pakistani troops on the ground against the Mukti Bahini. However, the conflict took a decisive turn in the Bengalis' favor following the ill-fated Operation Chengiz Khan, which resulted in direct military intervention in the civil war, eventually prompting Pakistan's unconditional surrender to the Joint Command of Indian Forces and the Mukti Bahini on 16th of December 1971. After the Bengali Awami League had won a decisive victory, capturing 167 out of 313 seats in the 1970 Pakistani parliamentary elections, the Bengali population expected a swift transfer of power to the Awami League based on the six-point program. On 20th of February 1971, Yahya Khan, then President of Pakistan, under the pressure of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Pakistan People's Party postponed the National Assembly meeting scheduled for March. The PPP had already started lobbying to weaken the stand of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and Bhutto was heard saying that he wanted the Bengalis to stay away. The Awami League, in response to the postponement, launched a program of non-cooperation, largely outlined in the 7th March Awami League rally, which was so successful that the authority of the Pakistani government became limited to Pakistani cantonments, an official government institution in East Pakistan. Clashes between Bengalis and the Pakistani army, and between the Bengalis and the Biharis erupted and had now become commonplace. President Yahya Khan flew to Dhaka to hold talks with Mujibur Rahman, then leader of the Awami League, in March, and was later joined by Bhutto, whose party had secured the second largest share of seats, 81 out of 300, in the general elections. Unwilling to transfer federal power from West Pakistan to East Pakistan as demanded by the Awami League, fearing a transfer of power would weaken or destroy the multi-ethnic Pakistani Federation, or to lose face by backing down in the face of the non-cooperation movement. The West Pakistani generals, most of which, including Commander-in-Chief Gul Hassan Khan, supported the PPP, finally decided on a military crackdown against the rebelling Bengalis in East Pakistan. After convening of the Pakistani National Assembly was postponed by Yahya Khan on March 1st, ethnic Biharis in East Pakistan who supported West Pakistan were targeted by the Bengali majority. In early March 1971, over 300 Biharis were killed in rioting by Bengali mobs in Chittagong. Following this series of incidents, the government of Pakistan used the Bihari massacre to justify its military intervention in East Pakistan on 25th of March, when it initiated Operation Searchlight. Prior to the launch of the operation, a final meeting was held at the Army General Headquarters. The Governor of East Pakistan, Vice Admiral Syed Muhammad Ansari, objected to the planned operation. Air Commodore Mohammad Zafar Masood, the air officer commanding of the Pakistani Air Force base in Dhaka, also objected to the operation. Masood was wary of a military crackdown, suspecting that it would only provoke East Pakistani Pakistan's Bengali majority population into more violence. However, under pressure during the meeting from Pakistani Army and Air Force General, Yahya Khan gave orders to his commanders to launch the operation. Syed Mohammad Ahsan was subsequently relieved of the governorship. When the operation came into effect, Zafar Masood refused to conduct air sorties and was likewise removed from his post on 31st of March. The operational plan and the planning process. The plan was drawn up in March 1971 by Major General Khadim Hussain Raja, GOC 14th Division, and Major General Rao Farman Ali as a follow-up of decisions taken at a meeting of the Pakistani Army Staff on 22nd of February. The 16th Infantry Division from Quetta and the 9th Infantry Division from Haryana, West Pakistan were ordered to prepare to move to East Pakistan in mid-February. Also, as a result
दादा
of
इसको
that
छोड़
meeting,
देते हैं,
जी sir,
यहाँ पढ़ो।
mobilization of troops for Lieutenant General Tikka Khan became the governor and GOC of East Pakistan. On 17th of March, General Raja was given authority to plan the operation via telephone by General Abdul Hamid Khan, Chief of Staff of the Pakistani Army. On the morning of 18th of March 18th of March, General Raja and Major General Rao Farman Ali wrote the plan at the GOC's office at Dhaka Cantonment. The plan was written on a light blue office pad with a lead pencil by General Farman containing 16 paragraphs spread over 5 pages. General Farman defined the operational premises and conditions for success, while General Khadim Raja dealt with the distribution of forces and tasks assigned to individual brigades and other units. It assumed that the Bengali army and other military units would revolt at the onset of operations, and the planners suggested that all armed Bengali units should be disarmed prior to commencing the operation, and the political leadership arrested during a planned meeting with the President General Yahya Khan. No operational reserves were earmarked. The handwritten plan was reviewed by General Abdul Hamid Khan and Lieutenant General Tikka Khan on 20th of March at the Flagstaff House, and General Abdul Hamid Khan objected to the immediate disarming of regular Army Bengali units, but approved the disarming of the EPR, armed police, and other paramilitary formations. Yahya Khan refused to sanction the arrest of Awami League leaders during a meeting with him, as the plan had proposed. The amended plan was approved and distributed to various area commanders. The operation was to start on the night of 25th of March 1971 in Dhaka, and other garrisons were to be alerted via phone about their 0 hour to start their activities. General Farman Ali commanded the forces in Dhaka, while the rest of the province was commanded by General Khadim. Lieutenant General Tikka Khan and his staff were present in the 31st Field Command Center to supervise and support the command staff of the 14th Division. The initial plan to arrest by a company of Number 3 SSG, led by Major Z.A. Khan, was scheduled at 1:00 hours on the night of 26th of March. Major components of the plan. As outlined by the Pakistani planners, the operation aimed to eliminate the Awami League apparatus and any civilians and personnel of the armed forces supporting the Awami League movement in defiance of martial law. Cunning, surprise, deception, and speed was emphasized as crucial for success. Use of free and greater force was authorized. Search and assault of civilian areas and Hindu areas was also authorized. Requirements for success.
एक मिनट ये पूरा पढ़ने की जरूरत नहीं है, टाइम खराब हुआ।
नहीं
हम्म
Operation Searchlight, 25th, 26th of March to 10th of April. This is a brief description of the units engaged and the result of the Pakistani military action from 25th of March until 10th of April, when the operation was supposed to end. This only covers events in the areas where the major focus of Operation Searchlight, not the Bengali resistance throughout East Pakistan. In some areas, Pakistani assault and mass murders started clashes with the Bengali forces on 25th of March. In other areas, no clashes took place until as late as 30th of March. Dhaka. Pakistani troops in Dhaka, commanded by Major General Farman, had the following objectives: impose curfew at 1.10 hours, close telephone telegraph stations, shut presses down, seal off the city, arrest Sheikh Mujib and 15 top Awami leaders during the operation, conduct house-to-house searches in Dhanmundi and Hindu areas, subdue Dhaka University EPR headquarters and Rajar Bagh police line, disarm 2nd and 10th EBR battalions, take over and protect the ammunition factory at Gazipur and the arms depot at Rajendrapur. Pakistani forces, in addition to the Eastern Command, Pakistani action was drawn up by General so-and-so, all the Baloch regiments.
पूरा कब्जा कर लिया था इन लोगों ने।
Oil refinery.
Pakistani units were given the following objective at Chitgaon: disarm EBCRC and unit 8 EBR, EPR and police unit, seize police armory, radio station and telephone exchange, lies with Pakistan Navy, arrest Lieutenant Colonel M.R. Chaudhary and Awami League leaders। चिटगांव में ये हुआ था। इसके बाद 26 मार्च, पूरा बहुत लंबा है, इसको जितना
बहुत लंबा है,
26, 27, 28
पार्ट बाय पार्ट दिया हुआ है, डेट बाय डेट।
अच्छा, ऑपरेशन सर्चलाइट कैसे ढाका में ही चला था क्या? पूरे बांग्लादेश में नहीं चला था?
पूरे बांग्लादेश।
क्या पढ़ रहे हो? क्या पढ़ रहा हूँ मैं? एंटायर
कुचिता,
बांग्लादेश कहाँ? ऑल द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स आर मेंशन, ऑल द डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स आर मेंशन्ड हियर। सिर्फ ढाका में क्यों होगा?
नहीं, वो मैप में दिख रहा था, केवल ढाका दिख रहा था।
अरे Dhaka was the capital, so it's highlighted on the map, but the operation was spread throughout Bangladesh. अरे सिर्फ ढाका पकड़ने से
पूरा बांग्लादेश का मैप है। ठीक है।
The Pakistani army had airlifted the 9th and 16th infantry divisions to Bangladesh by 10th of April and was poised to seize the initiative. General Niazi, who took command of Pakistani forces in Bangladesh on 11th of April, obtained a brief from General Raja, the departing GOC, and implemented the following strategy: clear all the big cities of insurgents and secure Chittagong, take control of and open all river, highway and rail communication networks, drive the insurgents away from the interior of the country, launch bombing operations along Bangladesh to wipe out the insurgent network. Against this strategy, Bengali field commanders opted to go with holding as much area as long as possible. The Bengali leadership hoped to keep the Pakistanis confined into the cities, while the Bangladeshi government in exile sought diplomatic recognition and the resistance prepared for eventual guerrilla warfare and awaited the expected Indian military intervention. Lacking everything except unskilled volunteers, Mukti Bahini fought a conventional battle against an enemy enjoying superiority in number of trained men, firepower, and complete air superiority, and played to the strength of Pakistanis. Choosing to attack Bengali forces all over Bangladesh simultaneously, General Niazi concentrated battalion and brigade-sized forces on company and battalion-sized defense positions repeatedly, used air strikes and artillery to soften targets, and employed helicopter-borne troops to outflank positions and hammered through to reach chosen objectives. Pakistani troop convoys were repeatedly ambushed, but these only delayed the Pakistani advance temporarily by using their superiority of weapons and command of air ruthlessly with little regard for safety of civilians and often targeting civilian areas to spread terror. The Pakistani army began to fan out their bases and take over the province. By late April, all the major cities had fallen. By mid-May, all major towns had been captured, and by mid-June, the battered remnant of Bengali fighters had been driven across the border into India. ये इम्पोर्टेंट है सर, सबको भगा दिया था।
हम्म।
The Bengali resistance suffering from a lack of trained men, proper logistics and coordination, lost the conventional battle against the Pakistani forces. इंडिया हेल्प नहीं करता तो ये कहीं के नहीं रहते। आज लंबा चौड़ा बात करते हैं सब। Creation of Mukti Bahini. The initial resistance, which started on 26th of March, functioned without any central command structure. Senior Bengali army officers met at Teliapada in Sylhet on 10th of April and selected Colonel Retired M.A.G. Osmani as commander of Bengali Armed Forces. On the 11th of April, Osmani designated 4 sector commanders, Major Zia for the Chittagong area, Major Khalid Musarraf for Kamila, Major Safiullah for Sylhet, and Major Abu Usman Chaudhry for the Jessore area. The Bangladesh government in exile was formed by the Awami League leadership on 17th of April at Meherpur in Kushtia, which confirmed Colonel Osmani as commander of the Mukti Bahini, regular armed forces and insurgents under the authority of Prime Minister Tajuddin Ahmed. Bangladesh forces headquarters were set up in Kolkata with Colonel M.A.G. Osmani as commander-in-chief. देखिए सर, in Kolkata. Lieutenant Colonel M.A. Rab as Chief of Staff, based in Agartala, Tripura, and Group Captain A.R. Khandakar as Deputy Chief of Staff. The Bengali resistance, after being driven out of Bangladesh, began organizing and focus on irregular warfare. Bengali refugees in India. A few thousand people sought refuge during April and May, mostly the resistance. During the resistance, however, the Pakistani army operations spread throughout the province, and refugees fleeing to India increased. Ultimately, approximately 10 million people would leave East Pakistan, and about 6.7 million were housed in 825 refugee camps. An estimated 7.3 million were in West Bengal and 1.5 million in Tripura. The rest were mainly in Assam and Bihar. The temporary presence of this large foreign population created economic
The cost of feeding, housing, and medical
housing
care.
and medical care, social tensions between locals and refugees, and national security, arms falling in the hands of Mizo and Naga rebels, which were concerns for India. India's role. The major reasons Generals Farman and Yaqub had proposed any military action against civilians in East Pakistan was the fear of an Indian attack, which the Pakistani army was woefully unprepared to meet in March 1971. After the crackdown, Tajuddin Ahmed met with Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on 3rd of April 1971 and asked for all possible aid, by which time the Indian government had already opened East Pakistan's border and the PSF was offering limited aid to the Bengali resistance. The issue of direct military intervention was discussed between the Indian military and political leadership in April 1971. The case for intervention was based on the following. Until 10th April, most of Bangladesh was outside Pakistani control, and the troops were bottled up in a few cities and were facing fierce resistance. It is likely that the Indian Army, with proper air support, could have quickly taken control of most of the province by aiding the Mukti Bahini. East Indian Eastern Naval Contingent, one aircraft carrier and several warships could have imposed a blockage of the province and cut off supplies from the sea, as the Pakistan naval arm in the east only contained one destroyer and 4 gunboats. Pakistani forces were flying in crucial reinforcements from West Pakistan during 26th of March to 2nd of May and were dependent on the supply depots located in Dhaka, Chittagong, and Naranganj for fuel and ammunition. Most Pakistani garrisons were cut off from each other and reliant on supplies through airlifts. The Indian Air Force, vastly outnumbering the Pakistani Air Force's eastern contingent, could have cut off the air links and destroyed the supply depots as it did in December 1971 war. Against this, the military leadership had to consider the following. Indian Army did not have a suitable force available for action in April 1971 and would have to assemble one from forces deployed in other areas for such an operation. Could an adequate force be put in place without jeopardizing the security of the northern and western borders of India in time to make a difference to East Pakistan? Could a logistical network be established around East Pakistan to support a combat force operation before Pakistani army took over the province. Should the Indians fail to gain a quick victory, was the army and the government ready logistically, politically, diplomatically, and otherwise for a longer war, especially during the monsoon season in Bangladesh, which would favor the defenders? Intervening in East Pakistan would make India the aggressor in international circles. Was India ready to diplomatically meet the international reaction, and had India ensured the cooperation of a superpower as a diplomatic ally and arms supplier, crucial for running a long war? Although some of the Bengali leadership hoped for and expected an Indian military operation at the earliest, a view was also shared by some Indian officers. Indian Army Eastern Command decided in the present condition such a move was inadvisable, and a full attack could only take place after 15th of November 1971 at the earliest, only after deliberate and extensive preparations, which was further elaborated to the Indian cabinet by General Sam Manekshaw. Indian leadership decided not only to directly intervene but chose to get involved. Eastern Command took over the responsibility for East Pakistan operations on 29th of April, and on 15th of May launched Operation Jackpot, a full-fledged operation to recruit, train, arm, equip, supply and advise the Mukti Bahini fighters engaged in guerrilla warfare against the Pakistani armed forces. Bengali civilian casualties: about 3 million died.
ठीक है, पढ़ चुके हैं इसके बारे में, क्या करें?
हाँ, इसको पहले पढ़े. This is about the genocide. Evaluation and importance. इसको पढ़ा सर?
नहीं 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 नहीं, वो बेकार का। हिरन में
हाँ जी सर, बोलिए सर।
कुछ गया दिमाग में?
अब गया तो है, अभी तो कैजुअलिटी होने वाला था।
क्या होने वाला था?
सर कैजुअलिटी कम से कम 3 मिलियन हुआ था शायद, अगर कैलकुलेशन गलत नहीं हुआ तो।
ना कैजुअलिटी तो
बांग्लादेश के
पहले का कैजुअलिटी 3 मिलियन बता रहा है, बाद का थोड़ी बता रहा है।
क्या बोले सर, सुना नहीं दे रहा।
मैं बोल रहा हूँ जो पढ़ा हूँ वो इंडियन इंटरवेंशन के पहले का कैजुअलिटी फिगर्स बता रहा है बांग्लादेश का।
अच्छा अच्छा,
पता नहीं आज मेरा माइक को क्या हो गया, 2 बार माइक चेंज कर चुका हूँ, फिर भी लोगों को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा ठीक से।
मैं सुनाई दे रहे हैं
जी।
हाँ थोड़ा वॉल्यूम थोड़ा कम है, आपका माइक का वॉल्यूम थोड़ा कम है।
इसको बढ़ाया जाए कैसे? 100% कर दिया हूँ, फिर भी यही दिक्कत है, मुंह के पास लाकर बात करना पड़ रहा है।
आप देखिए जरा, आपका जैक जरा लैपटॉप में है या फिर स्मार्टफोन पे है, जरा उसको घुसा कर फिर से देखिए।
लैपटॉप सब घुसा हुआ है और घुसेगा नहीं।
ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। तो बंगाली में जो लैंग्वेज का जो मूवमेंट हुआ था ना, जो आई थिंक 27 फरवरी या फिर ऐसा कुछ, वो मदर टंग डे जिसे मदर टंग डे सेलिब्रेट किया जाता है वो इंटरनेशनली।
हाँ हाँ,
वो वाला देखना मैं भूल गया, मुझे देखना था,
बाद में देख
लेट हो गया।
लीजिएगा। हाँ ठीक है, देख लीजिएगा बाद में।
आई थिंक 27 फरवरी होगा शायद।
हाँ हाँ, देख लीजिएगा बाद में, कवर कर चुके हैं मेरे।
और पढ़ना है?
दीजिए, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
नहीं, मैं इसलिए बोलो कि 5 लोग देख रहे हैं, 4 लोग हम बैठे हुए हैं, तो आई थिंक दिस इज ऑल्सो रिलेवेंट, दिस इज सेम थिंग हियर ऑल्सो। ये देखो, लिखा और बड़ा करूं?
नहीं,
आगे काफी है।
Only the first report of the
enough.
Bangladeshi genocide, estimated killed. हाँ, ये तो पहले का दिखा रहा है ना, पाकिस्तानियों ने जो मारा था। पढ़ूं उसको?
नहीं, नीचे कुछ लिखा है ना, अकॉर्डिंग टू शर्मिला बोस समथिंग करके लिखा है ना।
हाँ, controversial book, Dead Reckoning Memories of the 1971 Bangladesh War. The number
अच्छा
lies
यहाँ पे
somewhere
3
between
लाख लिखा है, 3 मिलियन
50,000
नहीं है।
50,000 to 1 lakh. However, her book was the subject of strong criticism by journalists, writer, visual artist Naeem Mohallamin, Nayanika Mukherjee, an anthropologist of Durham University, and others. Number of deaths in the whole of Bangladesh of nearly 5 lakhs.
कभी इनकी गिनती हो पाएगी?
तो ये एस्टिमेट्स है, रफली कौन करेगा? देखिए यार, ये तो पॉसिबल नहीं था. देयर वाज नो कंट्रोल एट दैट टाइम, और लोग तो भागे फिर रहे थे सब. ये ऐसे एस्टिमेट्स है. 1.5 million people were killed. Nirmal Sen claims that total number of killed was about 250,000, and among them about 1 lakh were Bengalis and the rest were Biharis.
सबसे कंजूस तो ये है.
ये Christian Gerlach concluded the overall deaths due to the war in East Pakistan slightly exceeded 500,000 and could not have exceeded 1 million, adding that the majority of deaths were rural dwellers who died of hunger, want and exhaustion. मैं गोली किसी को नहीं मारा. नहीं, पार्शियली होगा बिकॉज ऑफ हंगर, मतलब एग्जॉशन, वो सब तो ठीक है, लेकिन मोस्टली दे वर शॉट. Many people were shot indiscriminately. On 16th of December 2002, the George Washington University's National Security Archive published a collection of declassified documents consisting mostly of communications between the U.S. Embassy officials and the USIS centers in Dhaka and India, and officials in Washington, D.C. These documents show that U.S. officials working in diplomatic institutions within Bangladesh use the terms selective genocide and genocide to describe events they had knowledge of at the time. A complete chronology of events are reported in the Nixon administration can be found on the Department of State's website. Islamist militia. इस समय भी ये सब थे, राजाकार. Killing of intellectuals. अभी भी चल रहा है. Killing of intellectuals अभी भी चल रहा है, because most of them are against this Islamists. ये अभी तक चालू है. Notable people who were killed. देखिए उसी समय जो है हिंदुओं को भी हटाया गया था वहां से. प्रोमिनेंट हिंदूज.
गोविंद चंद्र देव,
हाँ,
मुनिया
फिलोसफर.
चौधरी, मुजफ्फर हैदर चौधरी,
वो तो
अकबर
वहाँ
पाशा.
वो तो वहीं के थे. ये ज्योतिर्मय गुहा ठाकुर का इंग्लिश लिटरेचर. संतोष चंद्र भट्टाचार्य. Now basically people from the lower strata of the society are residing there. Hindus में भी.
पूरे खाली कर दिया यार, पूरा ब्रेन को खाली कर दिया.
Dalits are there. See, ophthalmologists, doctors, सब. अच्छा, वहाँ का जो आपका हाई कोर्ट वगैरह में भी लोग प्रैक्टिस करते थे. मोस्टली इट वाज डोमिनेटेड बाय द हिंदू अपर क्लास. सब भाग गए या मार दिया गया.
और इन्होंने हिंदुओं के घर के बाहर लिख दिया था हिंदू.
हाँ जी.
ढूंढ ढूंढ के मारा है साहब इनको सबको.
क्या हुआ?
अच्छा, मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, आवाज साफ हो रही है अभी? अभी जो मैं बात कर रहा हूँ आवाज साफ हो रही है?
आ रही है.
हाँ, आवाज आ रही है, ठीक ठाक आ रही है, एकदम ठीक ठाक.
रिमूव द माइक.
और पीले पेंट से ना बड़ा बड़ा एच लिख दिया था हिंदुओं की दुकानों पे और घरों पे भी। और ये लिख रहा है ब्लड टेलीग्राम की किताब के 196 पेज पे, पाकिस्तान मैनेज टू एलिमिनेट द रेमिनेंट्स ऑफ द इनकन्वीनियंट हिंदू।
ये है 991, एकेडमिशियन जर्नलिस्ट 13, फिजिशियन 49, लॉयर्स 42, अदर 16।
ये आवाज कहाँ से हो रही है?
अभी तो कोई आवाज नहीं है।
ऐसा लग रहा है कोई मतलब बहुत जोर से सितार बजा रहा है।
मैं कोई सितार नहीं बजा रहा सर। बैकग्राउंड नॉइज हो रहा है।
निरन में ये पढ़ो,
हाँ दिखाइए।
दिखाता हूँ। हार्ट रेंचिंग है ये, क्या है यार, मतलब मेरा तो दिमाग खराब हो गया था कल से।
मेरा माइक को क्या हुआ?
ठीक है सर, शेयर कीजिए।
सुनना चाहेंगे ये? एक मिनट वीवी दादा।
हाँ
जरूर
साहब।
सर।
ये ब्लड टेलीग्राम लिख रहा है कि निक्सन अमेरिकन प्रेसिडेंट ने हेनरी किसिंजर, जो उसका वाइट हाउस स्टाफ था सिक्योरिटी का, उसको बुलाया और किसिंजर कहता है निक्सन को, क्योंकि निक्सन को जाना था ना चाइना, वो सीक्रेट ट्रिप, तो किसिंजर कहता है किसिंजर वाज गिडेड विद सक्सेस, और किसिंजर कहता है द क्लोक एंड डैगर एक्सरसाइज इन पाकिस्तान अरेंजिंग द ट्रिप वाज फैसिनेटिंग, ही सेड Yahya hasn't had such fun since the last Hindu massacre। ये ऑफिशियल है, किसिंजर ने व्हाइट हाउस में बोला निक्सन को, डॉक्यूमेंटेड है ये।
जी सर, नहीं, ये सही है सर, बिकॉज निक्सन एंड किसिंजर बोथ वर अगेंस्ट इंडिया। हाँ
ये
हाँ
जो
हाँ,
ये जो मैंने हाईलाइट किया हुआ है ना,
टोटली एग्री विथ यू सर, एकदम
ये
सर।
हाँ
डॉक्यूमेंटेड
कुछ
है।
लिखा हुआ है।
दिस इज डॉक्यूमेंटेड इन वाइट, जो बोलते हैं ना हर चीज डॉक्यूमेंट होती है,
हाँ
तो
जी।
ये
अच्छा हाँ, वो लोग अपना बातचीत रिकॉर्ड करके रखते हैं।
हाँ, तो वहां से निकला ना ये हेनरी
अच्छा अच्छा।
किसिंजर बोल रहा है अपने प्रेसिडेंट को, निक्सन को।
दे वर एंटी इंडिया बेसिकली, निक्सन
हिंदू
एंड
या बेच। और देखो, हेनरी किसिंजर एक ज्यू है जो परसिक्यूटेड था, ही वाज यंग जब वो आया वहां से, और उसको ये नहीं पता
अच्छा
कि
हाँ हाँ, हंड्रेड परसेंट जू है, ये मुझे पता नहीं था।
हिंदूज आर परसिक्यूटेड फॉर सो लॉन्ग, और ही इज हैविंग फन एट द एक्सपेंस ऑफ हिंदूज।
सर एक है इस्लामिस्ट जूइश एडवाइजरी काउंसिल, सुना है सर नाम इसका?
दादा
नोटिस
थोड़ा दोबारा बोलिए, आवाज आपकी आई नहीं पूरी।
इस्लामिस्ट जूइश एडवाइजरी काउंसिल, इसका नाम सुना है?
नहीं, तो पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ आपसे।
अच्छा, इसमें इस्लामिस्ट भी हैं, कुछ जूस भी हैं, who are, I mean, in line with the doctrine of spreading Islam। ये भी सरप्राइजिंग न्यूज़ थी यू में भी, ये कल मुझे पता चला। ये थोड़ा रिसर्च कीजिएगा सर इसके विषय में। इस्लामिस्ट जूइश एडवाइजरी काउंसिल।
इस्लामिक जूइश एडवाइजरी काउंसिल, ठीक है।
अच्छा यहाँ पे लिखा है the documents in this volume are drawn from centralized indexed files from files of Department of State and decentralized Bureau of Office and other lots files of relevant departments units। The editors also made extensive use of presidential and other papers at Nixon Presidential Materials Project. Almost all the documents printed here were originally classified. The Information Response Bureau
अरे बहुत है भाई, इसके अंदर बहुत है। ये ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंट है।
जी जी जी।
अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, मतलब
यूएस
ये पब्लिक, ये
डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्टेट
पब्लिकली
आर्काइव
अवेलेबल है।
है ना, यूएस साइट पे जाइए ना उसका, यूएस डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ स्टेट आर्काइव, तो आप जा सकते हैं इसमें।
दादा जो
अच्छा,
आप,
मतलब ये डिक्लासिफाइड हो चुका है।
अरे ये किताब है ना, ये किताब ले ले। ये अमेरिकन
द ब्लड
डिप्लोमेट था
टेलीग्राम,
बांग्लादेश में, उसकी
द
लिखी
ब्लड
हुई है।
टेलीग्राम,
अच्छा,
गैरी
नाम
जे,
है द ब्लड टेलीग्राम।
उसका नाम है, उसका नाम
गैरी जे
था,
बेस,
गैरी जे बेस।
बट गैरी जे बैस तो ऑथर है, लेकिन जो ब्लड है, जिसका पहला नाम
द
क्या था,
ब्लड
आर्चर,
टेलीग्राम,
आर्ची
द
ब्लड।
हाँ हाँ
आर्ची ब्लड वाज द अमेरिकन डिप्लोमेट इन ढाका कॉन्सुलेट
हाँ
हेड
हाँ
था।
हाँ हाँ हाँ।
ये उसका अकाउंट है, वो टेलीग्राम भेज रहा था। और
ये सारे कलेक्टेड एक्सर्प्ट्स हैं इसमें रिकॉर्डेड।
ढाका यूनिवर्सिटी में जब वो लोग बच्चे लोग मर गए थे, on March 28, Nixon and Kissinger discussed the report of protesting in East Pakistan and telephonic conversation. Nixon said, "I won't put out a statement praising it, but we are not good to
कौन सा
condemn it
condemn
either." A subsequent conversation with Kissinger on March 30, Nixon said, "We should just stay out, like in Biafra. What the hell can we do?" And then somewhere he says, ये देखो ये क्या बोल रहा है, निक्सन अगेन on 12th April,
ढाका
Dhaka
काउंसिल
consulate is in open rebellion. Nixon again concluded that it would be a mistake to become involved. The people who bitch about Vietnam bitch about it because we intervene in what they say is a civil war. Now some of the
same bastards want us to intervene here. Both civil wars. Blood was later transferred from Dhaka. This language is used indiscriminately in the United States and even in Britain. This is normal language. You have heard this up? A particular word is used in everyday parlance.
अरे यहाँ पर तो हर एक बात पे तो वो जैसे बेंचोत बोलते हैं, फक फक बोलते रहते हैं। वो जयपाल जी सबको ज्यादा मालूम होगा।
हाँ हाँ
बड़ा फक करते रहते हैं लोग।
हाँ, यहाँ
आप बार बार बहुत एफर्ट यूज करते हैं।
और बड़ी फाउल लैंग्वेज थी निक्सन और इसकी हेनरी किसिंजर की।
ये आपका बुश साहब भी कम नहीं थे, मतलब ये बुश के पिताजी जो थे वो भी, जॉर्ज बुश के पिताजी, सीनियर जॉर्ज बुश, वो भी कम नहीं थे।
यहाँ क्या बोल रहा है वो? Nixon said that if India intervened militarily, by God we will cut off economic aid. In a subsequent conversation with Kissinger on May 26, Nixon said that
The goddamn
Indian
हाँ बोला है। The goddamn Indians were promoting another war. Kissinger agreed. They are the most aggressive goddamn people around. The goddamn is okay still.
मैं ये इसको क्या बोलते हैं, हिरण्मय को पढ़वाना चाह रहा था। हिरण्मय
सर
पढ़ो
एक
ना
जगह
इसको
देखिए
थोड़ा।
सर, Kissinger told Nixon last
पढ़ता हूँ।
second last
कौन सा वाला
paragraph.
पढ़ना है?
एक मिनट second last paragraph में last line, Kissinger told Nixon that the fighting in the West had been initiated by India. Nixon responded, "It's a tragedy. The Indians are so treacherous." He ordered to hold क्या? He ordered
$90 million
hold placed
To hold placed
$90
on $90
million
million
funding
impending letter of
letters of
credit for
credit.
India.
तो पाकिस्तान को तो हेल्प करने का उन लोगों का इरादा ही था पूरा ना. They were pro Pakistani at that time. Nixon Kissinger agreed when they discussed the crisis on December 6th that it was necessary to take a hard line with the Soviet Union. Kissinger said that it was the kind of signal the Soviets understood. We'll be better off 6 months from now, he added. If they lose respect for us now, they'll put it to us. ये इंडियंस के बारे में कह रहा है.
This was only when their seventh fleet was moving in the
हाँ हाँ
Indian
हाँ
Ocean.
हाँ.
तब का चक्कर है.
अच्छा, सोवियत यूनियन के साथ भारत का कोई संधि हुआ था जिसकी वजह से अगर भारत पे अटैक होगा तो उसको माना जाएगा सोवियत यूनियन पे अटैक हुआ है, ऐसा कुछ है. बट वो संधि खत्म हो गया कि एसएसआर के खत्म होने के साथ.
On December 9th, Director of CIA Richard Hines
Helms.
Helms warned the WSAG that Pakistani forces in East Pakistan were crumbling. When Nixon and Kissinger met in the Oval Office on December 9 to discuss the crisis, they had in mind the deteriorating situation in East Pakistan and the intelligence report on Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's early December briefing, which they took to mean that after achieving victory in the East, India would shift its forces to the West and dismember Pakistan. At that point, Nixon decided to introduce the carrier Enterprise, aircraft carrier Enterprise, and its supporting vessels into the Bay of Bengal to apply military pressure on India. The rather transparent cover story was that the Enterprise was moving from Southeast Asia to the Bay of Bengal to help protect and withdraw US citizens from East Pakistan. Nixon decided to pose an implied military threat to India. मतलब in the garb of saying that they're saving their own people, भेजा गया था aircraft carrier with 7 other ships, I think, 7 odd ships. On December 12th, Nixon had to contemplate the implications of the assurance offered to the Chinese 2 days earlier. During the course of a conversation between Nixon and Kissinger in the Oval Office about the need for a military move by China to reinforce the impact of the arrival of the US carrier off East Pakistan, Kissinger's deputy, Alexander Haig, entered with word that the Chinese wanted to have a meeting in New York. That was startling news. Kissinger said the Chinese had never initiated contact in New York. Suddenly it seemed likely that China was going to move militarily against India. That raised the likelihood that the Soviet Union would be given an excuse to strike China. Kissinger said, if the Soviets move against them and we don't do anything, we will be finished. Nixon asked, so what do we do if the if the Soviets move against them? Start lobbing nuclear weapons in. Is that what you mean? Kissinger responded,
Great.
if the Soviets move against them in these conditions and succeed, that will be the final showdown. And if they succeed, we will be finished. He added that the Russians get away with facing down the Chinese and the Indians get away with licking the Pakistanis. We may be looking down the
Conventional forces.
gun barrel. In the end, they concluded that the projected confront, confrontation with the Soviet Union would involve a nuclear exchange. बाप रे बाप. Kissinger felt that to preserve credibility, the United States, if necessary, would have to support China with conventional forces. We have to put forces in. We may have to give them bombing assistance. Kissinger saw the danger of war between the Soviet Union and China as a strong possibility, with the Soviets looking for a pretext to wipe out China. But Nixon concluded at the end of the discussion that Russia
समझे?
यहाँ तक नौबत आ गई थी
हम्म।
न्यूक्लियर वॉर।
ये कौन है भाई? अब आए ये लोग, ये तो सोते रहते हैं, पता नहीं मुर्गी मुर्गा की लड़ाई लड़ते रहते हैं।
सर शायद
नमस्कार
अब
भाई।
तक आया है।
हाँ, दोनों को नमस्कार।
नमस्कार दादा।
नमस्कार। हाँ नमस्कार। अच्छा मेरा
नमस्कार
नंबर
सभी
वो
को।
उड़ा दिए क्या अवगढ़ जी?
अरे मेरे कैमरा को क्या होगा?
ये कौन पढ़ेगा?
जो नया आया है वो पढ़ेगा। अवगढ़ पढ़ो।
कहाँ से पढ़ना है? ड्यूरिंग द 1971।
हाँ जी,
ऊपर से पढ़, हेडिंग पढ़, हेडिंग से शुरू कर।
रेप ड्यूरिंग द बांग्लादेश लिबरेशन वॉर ड्यूरिंग द
फॉकट भाई एक मिनट दादा, आपने वो 1971 वॉर वाला जो है उसमें वो इनके साथ साथ कौन थे वो सारा ब्रीफ किया था अभी?
क्या?
ये जो पाकिस्तानी आर्मी है इसके साथ साथ और कौन था?
अभी हम 70 वार पे नहीं गए। अभी हम
अच्छा,
70
नहीं गए
वार
हो।
के बिल्कुल किनारे में है। मुक्ति वाहिनी और बांग्लादेश में जो
अच्छा, अभी बन
वहीं
रहा
पर
है।
है। अभी 71
ठीक
वार
है,
में
बन
घुसेंगे।
रहा है।
उसके पहले का
ठीक है दादा।
71 atrocities।
तैयारी कर रहे हैं हम लोग 71 वार की।
ठीक है दादा।
ठीक है, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ अब।
हाँ हाँ
ड्यूरिंग द नाइट क्या हुआ?
ठीक है पढ़ो पढ़ो।
पढ़ो मैं तो सोच रहा था।
बंगाली हिंदूज।
जी ये हमने पढ़ लिया। परसिक्यूशन ऑफ बंगाली हिंदूज। ठीक है, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ। During the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, members of Pakistani military and Razakars raped between 2 lakh and 4 lakh Bengali women and girls in a systematic campaign of genocidal rape. Most of the rape victims. Razakars was an East Pakistani paramilitary force organized by General Tikka Khan in then East Pakistani, now called Bangladesh, during the Bangladesh Liberation War in 1971. Since the 1971 war, it has become a
मैं जानबूझ करके इसके ऊपर किया था हाईलाइट कि रजाकार पब्लिक को समझना चाहिए रजाकार होता क्या है।
जी समझ गए। रजाकार ये भी तो क्रिएट किए थे, क्या कहते हैं, हैदराबादी मुल्ले
निजाम ओवैसी साहब लोगों के हाँ वो भी रजाकार।
ठीक है, मैं आगे पढ़ रहा हूँ दादा।
एक मिनट, उन्हीं के बच्चे घूम रहे हैं सर अभी इंडिया के अगेंस्ट में। उन्हीं के बच्चे सब
ये हलाला की पैदाइश है सब।
हाँ तो इसीलिए ये जरूरी था पढ़ना।
ठीक है, मैं आगे बढ़ रहा हूँ। Some of these women died in the captivity or committed suicide while others moved to India. Imams and Muslim religious leaders declared the women war booty. The activist leaders of Islamic parties are also accused to be involved in the rapes and abduction of women. देखिए मालिक अलीमत का बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल है ये, दर्शकों देख लीजिए। जो कह रहे हैं कि मॉडर्न ये पहले होता था, अब कहाँ होता है, ये देख लिए मॉडर्न वॉर में ये है।
एकदम सही एकदम सही।
ये मुल्लों को यही है।
अंधे बैठे वहां पर बकवास करते रहते, उनको सुनना चाहिए मेरे सर।
जी मैं The Pakistani elite believed that Hindus were behind the revolt and that as soon as there was a solution to the Hindu problem, the conflict would resolve. For Pakistanis, the violence against Hindus was a strategic policy. Muslim Pakistani men believed the sacrifice of Hindu women was needed to fix the national malaise. Anecdotal क्या लिखा है?
नेशनल बीमारी बोल रहे हैं,
नहीं नहीं,
नेशनल
हाँ,
ये
बीमारी।
बहुत
हिंदू रहना
दादा थोड़ा
मतलब
सा।
वहाँ नेशनल बीमारी है।
जी जी
अरे
जी जी।
यार, क्या मतलब क्या बुरा हाल करके रखा था इन लोगों ने यार। Shit.
Evidence
अभी भी
suggests that imams and mullahs supported the rapes by Pakistani army and issues fatwas declaring the women war booty. A fatwa from West Pakistan during the war asserted that women taken from Bengali Hindus could be considered war booty. Mother chode. Those rapes apparently caused thousands of pregnancies, birth of war babies, abortion, infanticide, suicide, and ostracism of victims. ये भगवान माँ की झूठ मुल्लों की. Recognized as one of the major occurrences of war crimes anywhere. The atrocities ended after surrender of Pakistani military and supporting Razakars militia. Initially, India claimed its support for Mukti Bahini and later intervention was on humanitarian grounds. But after the UN rejected this argument, India claimed intervention was needed to protect its own security. During the war, Bengali nationalists also committed mass rape of ethnic Bihari Muslim women. Since the Bihari Muslim community supported Pakistan, Indian soldiers as well as Bengalis militiamen were also identified as perpetrators of rape by scholar Yasmin Saikia. Yasmin Saikia was informed repeatedly in the Bangladesh that Pakistani, Bengali and Bihari men raped Hindu women during the war. In 2009, almost 40 years of the events of 1971, a report published by the War Crime Fact-Finding Committee of Bangladesh accused 1,597 people of war crimes, including them. Since 2010, the International Crime Tribunal (ICT) has indicted, tried, and sentenced several people to life imprisonment ordered for their action during the conflict. The story of rape victims have been told in movies and literature and depicted in art. The rape victims have been recognized as a birang- birangona or war heroines.
वीरांगना।
Birangana
हाँ हाँ, वीरांगना।
Birangana or war heroines by the government of Bangladesh. The term Birangana was first introduced by Sheikh Mujibur in 1971 in attempt to prevent them from being outcast by the society. Mother chode.
अरे अभी भी वही हाल है।
सारी रेस को बदल देंगे ये लोग, बाप रे।
दादा
ज्यादा
इनको
रेप
धरती
तो
से,
हिंदुओं का ही हुआ था, मतलब किया है।
हाँ हाँ।
दादा इनको सुधारने के लिए इनको धरती से मिटाना ही पड़ेगा। ये बिना मिटे नहीं मानने वाले।
The Bengali of East Pakistan were chiefly Muslim, but their numbers were interspersed with a significant Hindu minority. Very few spoke Urdu, which is 1948 had been declared the national language of Pakistan. To express their opposition, activists in East Pakistan funded the Bengali language movement. Earlier in 1949, other activists had founded the Awani League as an alternative to ruling Muslim League in the West Pakistan. In the next decade and half, Bengalis became gradually disenchanted with the balance of power in Pakistan, which was under military rule. During much of this time, eventually some began to call for secession. Succession. By the late 1960s, the perception had emerged that people of East Pakistan were second-class citizens. It did not help that General A.A.K. Niazi, head of Pakistani forces in East Pakistan, called East Pakistan a low-lying land of low.
पढ़ लिया उसको, रहने दे। ये हम लोगों ने पहले पढ़ा हुआ है, अब इसको वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे। हम्म।
Hindu victims. The Pakistani elite believed that Hindus were behind the revolt and that soon as there was a solution to the Hindu problem, the conflict would resolve. For Pakistanis, the violence against Hindu was a strategic policy. Muslim Pakistani men believed the sacrifice of Hindu women was needed to fix the national malaise. Anec- Anecdotal evidence suggests that imams, mullahs, that's short, Katua, supported the rapes by the Pakistani Army issued fatwas declaring the women war beauty. A fatwa from West Pakistan during the war asserted that women taken from Bengali Hindus could be considered war beauty. The mostly Punjabi soldiers hated anything to do with Hinduism. The extremist hatred Pakistani felt towards Hindus could be seen in their especially brutal violence against Hindus, as in Pakistani army and its local allies raped and murdered Hindu women. The implication of Bengali women being connected in any way to Hindu identity was raped by the army. Women were captured, taken to camps established throughout the country. In these military camps and cantonments, the Pakistanis kept the captivity as their sex slave. माँ की चूत मादर चोद कटुअन की.
अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं, अफगढ़ यार, कोई महिलाएं भी सुन रही होंगी।
अरे खून खाल उठता है.
नहीं नहीं, मेरा यार खून।
ठीक है, कंट्रोल कर, मत कर,
ऐसा
गाली
नहीं
मत
यार, कोई बाद में भी सुनने की। हाँ,
गाली मत दो।
Female Hindu captives were raped in Pakistani army camps. The Pakistani army committed mass rape of Hindu women because they were Hindus, and the army intended to destroy their faith, social position, and self-esteem. The policy of raping Hindu captivity intended to change the community bloodline. The total effect of mass sexual violence. अरे अब किसी और से पढ़ाइए, मेरा दिमाग खराब हो गया.
हाँ ठीक है,
पढ़िए
अब
भाई।
तो पानी पी अभी। छोड़ इसको। तो पानी पी लेना।
मैं तो तेरे को गुस्से को बंद करने के लिए बोला था, पढ़ेगा तो कम से कम गुस्सा नहीं करेगा। तुम तो पढ़ते
अच्छा,
पढ़ते गुस्सा
रूह अफ़ज़ा
करेगा।
मत पीना, रूह अफ़ज़ा मत पीना।
ये तो खतरनाक आदमी है अवगढ़ से एकदम।
अरे अवगढ़ जी, रूह अफ़ज़ा मत पीना।
ना
पढ़ूं?
पढ़िए, आप पढ़िए, मेरे से तो बोलना नहीं होगा.
The total effect of mass sexual violence against Hindu women demonstrated the existence of genocidal actus reus. In the Akayesu case, the Bangladeshi tribunal emphasized that the violence against Hindu women was committed not just against them individually, but because of their membership of the community. मतलब ऐसे टारगेट किया गया. Dina DeCosta spoke with many respondents who especially mentioned the brutality of Pakistan's army in its handling of Hindus. The members from the Hindu community with whom she interacted with firmly believed in the persecution of Hindus by the Pakistani army and Razakars during the war. Hindu women who were kidnapped by the Pakistani army were never seen again. Mostly they were killed after being raped. Dina DeCosta interacted with families of two Hindu women who were taken by Punjab army men. Neither of them returned to their respective homes after the war. Aubrey Menon, who was a war correspondent, wrote about the 17-year-old Hindu bride who was gang raped by 6 Pakistani soldiers, according to her father. 2 went into the room that had been built for the bridal couple. The others stayed behind with the family, one of them covering them with his gun. They heard a barked order and the bridegroom's voice protesting. Then there was silence until the bride screamed. In a few minutes, one of the soldiers came out of his uniform in disarray. He grinned to his companions. Another soldier took his place in the extra room, and so on until all the 6 had raped the belle of the village. Then all 6 left hurriedly. The father found his daughter lying on the spring, unconscious and bleeding. Her husband was crouched on the floor, kneeling over his vomit. Aftermath. In the immediate aftermath of the war, one pressing problem was the very high number of unwanted pregnancies of rape victims.
अदा,
जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ.
how can you read this यार? Shit. ये तो साला जिसने झेला बस यहाँ तो पढ़ने में गुस्सा आ रहा है, दुख हो रहा है यार.
Estimates of the number of pregnancies during pregnancies resulting in births range from 25,000 to the Bangladeshi government's figure of 70,000. While one publication by the Center for Reproductive नहीं पढ़े सर.
पढ़ो पब्लिक को मालूम पढ़ना चाहिए. हम लोग देख रहे हैं इसलिए, लेकिन जिनको सुनेंगे तो वो कैसे रिएक्ट करेंगे देखते हैं.
One publication by the Center for Reproductive Law and Policy gave a total number of 250,000. यही सब अभी है. A government mandated victim relief program was set up with the support of the World Health Organization and the International Planned Parenthood Federation, among whose goals it was to organize abortion facilities to help rape victims terminate unwanted pregnancies. A doctor at a rehabilitation center in Dhaka reported 1,70,000 abortions of pregnancies caused by the rape and the births of 30,000 war babies during the first 3 months of 1972. Dr. Jeffrey Davis, an Australian doctor and an abortion specialist who worked for the program, estimated that there had been about 5,000 cases of self-induced abortions. He also said that during his work he heard of numerous infanticides and suicides by victims. His estimate of the total number of rape victims was 4 lakhs, twice as high as the official estimate of 2 lakhs cited by the Bangladeshi government. Most of the victims also contracted sexual infections. Many suffered from feelings of intense shame and humiliation, and a number were ostracized by their families and communities or committed suicide. तो कोई लेना नहीं चाह रहा था ना इनको.
मैं नहीं पढ़ता भाई, मैं अभी से बंद करता हूँ.
इतना में तो खत्म हो गया ना, समझ में आ गया क्या हुआ.
नहीं, कल करेंगे इसको, मैं इसके बारे में डिस्कशन ही करेंगे, ज्यादा अच्छा है. या तो फिर ये पढ़ लो, थोड़ा सा इसको टॉपिक को चेंज करते हैं. दिस इज टू ग्रूसम यार, टू ग्रूसम,
टू ग्राफिक ऑल्सो.
ये है ही नहीं कुछ.
नहीं, इसमें कुछ नहीं है, कोई डाला नहीं है कुछ. कोई डाला नहीं है सर. ये जगह का नाम सब बता रहा है जहाँ जहाँ हुआ है सर.
तो ब्लड टेलीग्राम बुक में एक जगह लिखा हुआ है कि ये पाकिस्तानी आर्मी ने बोला कि ये बंगाली हिंदुओं के साथ रहते हैं, इसलिए सॉफ्ट हो गए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ देम, सो वी नीड टू गेट रिड ऑफ देम.
सब ब्लेम हिंदू पे ही डालो.
ये सुधरेंगे नहीं. ये जब तक प्लेनेट पे हैं तो बेटर है कि इनको जो है निपटा दिया जाए. इनका जिंदा रहना ठीक नहीं है.
मान लीजिए पब्लिकली कोई एक्नॉलेज नहीं करता हो, लेकिन सबको मालूम है नहीं सुधरेंगे. सबको मालूम.
इनको जिंदा छोड़ना ही जो है पूरे संसार को खराब कर देना है.
एकदम ठीक कहा.
इनका और कम्युनिस्टों का मर जाना ही ठीक है.
अरे सामान उस दिन ऐसे ही दिखा था ना.
साला अमेरिका पूरा साथ दे रहा था इनका.
रावगढ़ जी
सब कुछ जानते हुए
आए ना वो अपना. देख लिया जाएगा. सारा वही चीज है, कैप्चर टेकन टू कैंप्स, वही सब लिखा हुआ है. Instead of encouraging them as war heroines, few men came forward. And those who did expected the state to provide a large dowry. Those women who did not marry were usually mistreated, and the majority of men, once having received the dowry, abandoned their wives. तो देखिए, I do not want those polluted blood in this. The majority of the war babies were adopted in the Netherlands and Canada as the state wished to remove the reminders of Pakistan from the newly formed nation. However, not all women wanted their child taken, and some were forcibly removed and sent adoption, a practice which was encouraged by Rahman, who said, "I do not want those polluted blood in this country." ये प्रोग्राम के बारे में बता रहा है, रिहैबिलिटेशन प्रोग्राम बोर्ड।
है हिम्मत, पढ़ो भाई। मैं तो
जितना पढ़ेंगे यही सब ग्राफिक डिटेल सब दिया हुआ है।
ये देखो, ये क्या बोल रहा है।
हाँ पढ़ा हूँ
मैं पढ़ लेता हूँ।
चलो भाई पढ़ो।
40 years after war, 2 sisters who had been raped were interviewed by Eustace
Welle.
Aliyah was stated she had been taken by Pakistani army when she was 13 and was gang raped repeatedly for 7 months. And she states that she tortured and was 5 months pregnant when she returned to her home. And she and her sister Lily says she was pregnant when she was taken by armed forces and lost the child.
Later, she fought alongside the Mukti Bahini. Both say the state had failed the Birangana, and all they received was humiliation, insults, hatred, and ostracism.
एक पाकिस्तानी एक मेजर है, मुझे उसका नाम याद नहीं, परंतु वो अपना साइड चेंज कर लिया था। इंडियन आर्मी के पक्ष में युद्ध किया था।
बहुत आदमी साइड चेंज
किया था, फिर वापस भी
चला गया। आपका ये कौन है? ये जियाउर
रहमान वापस नहीं चला गया, वो बांग्लादेश में है अभी।
अरे जियाउर रहमान तो इन लोगों के साथ था, फिर क्यों अपना coup वगैरह कराया?
पद्मश्री भारतीय गवर्नमेंट ने पद्मश्री दिया था।
सुनता नहीं है, इसका बड़ा एक दिक्कत है, ये सुनता नहीं है बात एकदम। आपका जियाउर रहमान इंडियन मिलिट्री एकेडमी से ट्रेनिंग लिया। अच्छा, जब ये पाकिस्तानी आर्मी में था, ये मुक्ति बाहिनी के साथ लड़ा है।
मेजर था
में क्या किया? हाँ मेजर था। तो मेजर से फिर क्या डिक्टेटर बन गया। उसके बाद हिंदुओं को कौन भगाया? वही भगाया। तो ये बदलेंगे नहीं, जैसा अवगढ़ जी बोल रहे हैं ना, इनके नस्ल में गड़बड़ है।
जब ही 15 अगस्त 1975 को शेख मुजीबुर रहमान को मारा था, तो वो अनाउंस करने के लिए वहीं पर गए थे। ये वहाँ का चीफ था, आर्मी चीफ था। इसके यहाँ पर जब गए रेडियो से अनाउंस करने के लिए, तो उस समय ये शायद बाथरूम में था, नहा रहा था, धो रहा था। ये उसके पास में गए, उसको बोला, जब ये बाहर आया तो उसको बोला कि आ रहा है कि प्रेसिडेंट साहब को मार दिया है, हम क्या करें। मतलब दे वेंट देयर टू टेक ऑर्डर। तो बोलता है तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, नई गवर्नमेंट को अनाउंस कर दो ना।
ये बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने।
दैट वाज हिज एटीट्यूड।
डायरेक्ट एक्शन डे में ये मुजीबुर रहमान साहब का भी बड़ा हाथ था। तो ये तो पूरा वो किताब फॉलो कर रहे हैं ना, व्हाटएवर सूट्स देम एट अ पर्टिकुलर टाइम दे एक्ट अकॉर्डिंगली। जैसे हिंदुओं का मतलब दरकार नहीं रहा तो भगा दिया।
तो we will cover the next part of it, like वो जो मुक्ति वाहिनी और इंडो पाकिस्तान वॉर of 71 टुमारो, इसको यहाँ पर अब 2.5 घंटा हो रहे हैं, बंद कर देते हैं। अगर किसी को कमेंट देना है तो दे दो भाई। मेरे ख्याल में हमारी स्ट्रीम 2.5 घंटे की हो गई है। ज्यादा क्या होता है, ज्यादा लंबी हो जाती तो कोई देखता नहीं है इसको, फिर छोड़ देते हैं बाद में। इतनी लंबी स्ट्रीम कौन देखेगा। मुर्गे मुर्गी की लड़ाई होती तो लोग तो 6-6 घंटे देखते रहते हैं, इसको देखता नहीं है ना कोई। इससे बुद्धि लगती है ना। और वैसे भी अंग्रेजी में रहता तो आधी पब्लिक को तो वैसे समझ में नहीं आता।
दादा 2 वीडियो भेजे मैंने।
हाँ मैं स्क्रीनशॉट ले लिया।
क्या करूं, चलाऊं?
हाँ ये इंटरव्यूज हैं उनके।
स्ट्रीम को बंद करके चलाऊं ना? अभी स्ट्रीम बंद कर देता हूँ।
नहीं 2-2 मिनट के हैं, पब्लिक को ये दिख जाना चाहिए क्योंकि एविडेंस है ना, वो जो दिखा हुआ है वो
अरे
तो है
यार
ही है।
स्ट्राइक आती है, कल आया था, मेरे को कॉपीराइट आया
अच्छा
था।
ठीक है।
वो नाथूराम
आया
गोडसे
था
का
सर,
चलाया था ना, उसको कॉपीराइट आ गया था।
तो इसमें
तो
सर
अच्छा
आप
आपके
ये
लिए ये
नाथुराम
तो
गोडसे
फ्रीली
का आपने
अवेलेबल
चलाया
है।
एक मिनट
इसको
दादा,
वैसे
आपके लिए जो
इसको वैसे अपने माइक के सामने रख देना, आवाज सुना देना, पब्लिक सुन लेगी, ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा।
नहीं
हाँ
तो
ऐसा
छोड़िए
कर,
बाद में। हाँ हाँ
और या फिर आप एक काम करिए, साथ में ये भी शेयर कर दीजिए, जो लिंक्स है ना पब्लिक को शेयर कर दीजिए कि अपने आप देख ले। बाकी आप वॉइस सुना सकते तो सुना दीजिए।
तुम मोबाइल से हो या तुम कहे से हो? तुम्हारे पास में लैपटॉप है ना,
हाँ
तो तुम ही
लिंक
सुनाओ ना।
चैट में लिंक चैट में डाल दो।
डाल दिया
जी जी,
मैंने,
नहीं नहीं,
डाल दिया।
प्राइवेट में नहीं, जो जनरल चैट है।
जनरल चैट में मेरे पास ऑप्शन नहीं आता शायद।
मैं डाल रहा हूँ, मैं डाल रहा हूँ।
हाँ मेरे पास
मेरा
ऑप्शन नहीं आता जनरल चैट में डालने का।
फिर तो ये डाल
आपको
दिया।
मॉडरेटर बनना पड़ेगा जनरल चैट में डालने के लिए।
अच्छा, ये मुझे बनाया जाए।
दूसरा ये हो गया, दिख रहा है? अभी डाल दिया।
हाँ हाँ दिख गया।
खराब है।
वो
क्या
इसलिए कि
करना है?
पब्लिक को मालूम।
मैं चलाऊं उसको?
हाँ आप माइक पे वैसे सुना दीजिए, वॉइस वॉइस।
ठीक है, तो देखता हूँ कहाँ है।
और चाहिए तो मैं सुना देता हूँ।
तुम ही सुनाओ ना यार, बच्चा है तुम्हारा।
दोनों सुना दो मैं। नहीं आ रही है।
Vietnam because this country has a big stake there. But Bangladesh is a different case. There is no major American involvement or
सुनाई पड़ रहा है?
there, nothing which approaches the
सुनाई तो दे रहा है।
जी हाँ सुना दे रहा है।
And so the memory of what happened there may already be growing dim in many of us. But what did happen there was done by the people of Bangladesh, especially the women.
It was in villages like this that the Bengali liberation struggle caught fire. And it was in villages like this that the Pakistan army took its revenge. The villagers still speak of it. The men telling their stories of fighting. The children telling their stories of running and hiding. It is the women who are silent. Women like Saiba. She is 16 years old, a widow, and pregnant with a child of a Pakistani soldier. Like thousands of women throughout Bangladesh, she is carrying a child she does not want.
She says that her husband was in the Mukti Bahini. He was a commander of the force, in the village. And this army people were looking for him, and they had broken into her house to take him away, actually. And when they were dragging him out of the house, she started screaming and protesting and crying, trying to hold back her husband. And one of them turned back and raped her in front of her husband, who was forced to sit and watch with guns pointed at him. And later on she
Like many women who were raped by Pakistani soldiers, Sayura is in disgrace among her people. Her parents take care of her, but they are certain that no man will ever marry her. Since January, many of the women ravaged by the Pakistani troops have been living in this house. They're being cared for by a government-sponsored women's rehabilitation group. Almost all of the women here are pregnant. They are very young, some only 13 years old. In a few cases, their parents have abandoned them. In others, their husbands have rejected them. About 70 have had abortions, and those who have had their babies plan to give them away. Most of the girls here were held prisoner by the Pakistani troops in the army barracks. For weeks, each day and each night, they were forced to submit to whatever the soldiers demanded. This is Rushanara, 14 years old and 7 months pregnant. She was abducted from her home in Dhaka and taken to the army barracks, where she remained for 3 months. She says there were nights when as many as 30 soldiers forced themselves on her. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman has said that these women are heroines. But politics, the war, and even the liberation are not really the concerns of these women. They are the innocent victims of war, and the children there will share in their grief. This is Ruth Saba, NBC News, in Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Many of the soldiers who attacked those women are among the 100,000 Pakistani prisoners of war held by India. India has offered Pakistan what it calls unconditional talk.
सुन लिया, सुनाई पड़ा था ना?
जी सर, एक्चुअली अमेरिकन एक्सेंट में है ना, यहाँ पे थोड़ा समझने में दिक्कत आएगी।
जी दादा सुन लिया। अभी मैं ये देख रहा हूँ, अगर सिर्फ ऑडियो शेयर करने का ऑप्शन इसमें है ना प्रेजेंट करने में, तो मैं वो देखता हूँ।
सर समझ लेंगे, बाकी लोगों को समझ में दिक्कत आएगी अमेरिकन एक्सेंट में।
दादा बैकग्राउंड में कोई एक एस नाम के हैं,
बैकग्राउंड में बैकस्टेज पे है।
Like sacrificial animals. They are the Bengalies. I wanted to meet them. I wanted to know them as they are, and beyond the term, Birangana. Tarabati jale re, tarabati jale, manush name kode re, tarabati jale. আমি তো দেশের মানুষ, বাংলাদেশের দায়িত্ব আমি একটা কিন্তু আমরা কি বিচার করবে না বিচার করবে আল্লাহ করবে, মানুষের বিচার চাই না। ওদের থাক, কিন্তু একটা কথা হবে, খাতা তো হবে, নিন্দা তো হবে। তারাবাতি জলে রে, জগনকে দেখার জন্য কথার বাণী, বসে কথা পানি হলো কিন্তু ওয়ারি তুমি প্রাণ চাইতেছে প্রাণ। একটি চিন্তা আমার দেশ স্বাধীন করতে হবে, যখন আমার মাথার কি হই, যে করলো হিন্দু হোক আর মুসলমান হোক, কি বাস্য তার হোক। তারাবাতি জলে রে, তারাবাতি জলে। আরে খেলার বাকি আমার হয়ে গেছে, আমি আরো খেলবো। আমি খেলবো যদি আমি কোনো ইতিহাস না পাই, আমি কোনো ঠাই না পাই, কোনো ইতিহাস না পাই। মানুষ নামের কদে রে, তারাবাতি জলে।
क्या बोल रहे थे? कौन आया था? एकेएस करके कोई आया था, मैंने पता नहीं जानबूझ के नहीं लिया उसको।
अच्छा अच्छा,
ले लिया करिए।
नहीं, देखो मैं एक वेरीफाई करता हूँ, वेरीफाई में अगर वो नाम बदल के आ रहा है तो फिर मैं नहीं लेता हूँ। मैं यहाँ पर कोई ये थोड़ा ना कि पर्दा लगा करके नाम बदल के आएगा तो फिर मैं क्या करूंगा, पता नहीं कौन होगा, ये भी तो है ना। पहले देख लेता हूँ मैं कि कौन है कौन नहीं है, तो उसके बाद में ही लेता हूँ मैं। उस दिन आया था ना वो एक घोड़ा नचाने वाला।
अरे तो गाली खा के जाएगा अभी तो।
अरे भाई भारती साहब ने क्या बोला, मेरा चैनल गाली खाने के लिए काफी मतलब पढ़े लिखे और ऐसे लोग देख रहे होते हैं, इसमें गाली वाली देखने क्या मतलब है यार। हमें एडम और साहिल जैसा थोड़ा चैनल बनाना है। फॉर दैट मैटर इवन वो जो अपने असुर लोग हैं उसको वैसा थोड़ा बनाना है जहाँ पर कि हर दूसरे वर्ड में मतलब दूसरे सेंटेंस में गाली ही रहती है।
अच्छा, असुर लोग गाली देते हैं क्या? लवणासुर
असुर लोग तो गाली ही देने के लिए पैदा हुए हैं भाई।
तो आप गए नहीं कभी? हाँ हिरण्मय जी, आप गए नहीं कभी वहाँ?
नहीं, मैं वहाँ पे कभी गया नहीं। नहीं, एक बार गया था, वो एक बार
हाँ तो फिर
रोहिंगा को
मासूम
लेके एक
क्यों बन रहे
प्रेजेंटेशन हो
इतना?
रहा था।
इतना अपने आप को मासूम क्यों दिखा रहे हैं? सब जानते हैं।
नहीं, मैं एक बार गया था, वो रोहिंगा को लेके एक प्रेजेंटेशन हो रहा था, तो वहाँ पे मैंने
आप इस
अपना
समय
इनपुट देने के लिए गया।
एक को गाली नहीं दिया गया।
हिरोन्मय,
हाँ,
तुम कहाँ से हो? बंगाल से?
हाँ, बंगाल से हूँ।
किस डिस्ट्रिक्ट से?
अच्छा ये बताओ,
कूच
मैं
बिहार।
मैं अब बंद कर दूं स्ट्रीम को?
जी सर, जी सर।
जी दादा।
2 घंटे 41 मिनट हो गए हैं, इस स्ट्रीम को बंद कर देते हैं, बाद में जो भी है ना बैक
परंतु
से
यहाँ
बात
पर
करते
1 घंटा 40 मिनट 38 सेकंड दिखा रहा है।
2
जी कोई
hours
बात
41
नहीं,
मिनट 32 सेकेंड्स हो गया अभी। ठीक है,
बंद कर दीजिए, कोई बात नहीं।
चलो
नहीं,
तो कल
वैसे-
हम लोग इंडो पाक वार के ऊपर जाएंगे, मुक्ति वाहिनी के ऊपर जाएंगे,
जी 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 जी।
जनरल नियाजी की ऐसी तैसी करेंगे।
हाँ जी।
ठीक है। अच्छा,
ठीक है सर।
उस लड़ाई में सबसे बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट होगा वो जो इनकी जो वो थे सबमरीन जो गाजी जो बे
हाँ,
ऑफ बंगाल में
तो
किसने
आप ये
तोड़ा था
समझो,
किसने नहीं तोड़ा था, उसके कंट्रोवर्सी अभी तक है, उसको थोड़ा देखना है।
दादा बताओ, आप देखो इतना सब कुछ देखने के बाद भी बंगाल के जो मुस्लिम्स हैं उनकी आंखें नहीं खुली कि ये रिलीजियस रेप थे, वॉर बूटीज थी, जो कि इस्लाम में बोला गया है।
अरे जो जो
और
बांग्लादेशी मुसलमान यहाँ पे अमेरिका में उनका एटीट्यूड देखो ना। अभी एक दिन हम सिगरेट लेने गए थे, उसको बोला भाई 2 मालबोरो दे दे, 2 मालबोरो दे दे, 2 मालबोरो लेने में थोड़ा सा कंसेशन मिलता है, तो वो बोला कि 2 नहीं मैं 1 ही दूंगा। हमने कहा क्यों भाई 1 क्यों देगा जब 2 देने में कंसेशन मिलता है? तो बोलता है कि हम बांग्लादेश से हैं, आप इंडिया से हो, हम आपके लिए नहीं है अमेरिकन के लिए, ऐसा करके बोलता है सर।
हैं?
क्या घटिया बात।
अभी समझ
सच में दादा?
हाँ
हाँ,
हाँ।
फिर बाद में मेरे दामाद ने उसको गाली दिया कि यू आर पासिंग रेसिस्ट कमेंट्स एंड वी आर गोइंग टू कंप्लेन, 9/11 पे कंप्लेन करेंगे, ये करेंगे वो करेगा। तो बोला करो ना, जो करना होगा, ये है वो है। पता नहीं घर में अपने बीबी झगड़ा करके आया था। ये 7/11 की बात है, मेरे हमारे कम्युनिटी के सामने ही है, वहां पर ऐसा तमाशा कर रहा
साला
अच्छा।
कुत्ता।
सर एक तो इनके जीन्स खराब हैं, ठीक है, जेनेटिक्स इनके खराब हो रखे हैं।
चलिए बंद करके बात करते हैं।
अरे
ठीक है।
साले जहनी बीमार होते हैं भाई।
तो कल के स्कीम के बारे में हम लोग बता देते हैं पहले से ही, हम इंडो पाकिस्तान के बारे में डिस्कस करेंगे 71 के। और आज की स्ट्रीम अगर अच्छी लगी है तो इसको थोड़ा वीडियो को लाइक करो, शेयर करो, सब्सक्राइब करो और बेल आइकन दबा देना, जिससे कि आपको नोटिफिकेशन हमारा कल का मिल जाए। जय हिंद, जय भारत, भारत
वंदे
माता की
मातरम।
जय। ठीक है।
जय हिंद, वंदे
वंदे
मातरम।
मातरम जी, वंदे
वंदे
मातरम।
वंदे मातरम, भारत माता की जय।